I love a buttered biscuit.
Dropped a grumpy, pardon the term, onto the bed.
Look at that. Hey, Jess. Oh, that's not good.
Roll. What
Hear
did
that?
your 3D printer do?
Got snagged or something. It's usually what happens. Huh. I'll figure it out here in a little bit.
There. I made sure I put the proper name. What did you? What are you?
He's just like, no, look at my butt. Look
You're
at my
terrible, terrible guess. Oh,
butt.
it sounded like he was gonna throw up on me. I was like, hell nah, don't you dare.
Don't you dare. Hey, Christine, good to see you. Hey, too high strung. Gross. It's the Grumpy King. Angel. Aw. I mean, who can resist a face like that?
Me.
I know you couldn't.
I can.
Not even. You say you can, but I don't think you can.
Well, I can't avoid him because he's like stuck to me like glue. He makes me
Yeah.
pick him up and stuff.
He does that. He does that all the time. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody from all across the world. I know that you're on Jess's and mine, and you're everywhere. Yeah. Oh, wait. That's a dog. See? Even KLA knows.
KLI understood the assignment. I love KLI.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. What the hell did my printer do? Son of a bitch. How about I get this thing going? They're introducing the judges, and we'll just go ahead and share it up and get it going for just a little bit. And I can go see what's going on with my printer, see why it's acting all
Sounds
funky.
good.
All right. Here we go. More of Dr. Mommy.
And again, Dr. Curry, since you're in the middle of your testimony, please do not discuss your testimony with anybody at this time, okay? All right, let's just, when we come back at 1:50, okay? Come back at 1:50? All right, thank you.
What's up, Jacob? Good to see you. I have no choice, Too High. He makes me snuggle him. He's attached. His name is Angel, Christine. Busy, if you can hear me, it's showing the seal. The Virginia thingy.
I hear you. Thank you.
I'm like, wait, what are we doing?
There we go. Sorry.
Okay.
Damn it. Thank you.
your seats. All right, cross-examination. You can sit down, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor. Dr. Curry, you're not board certified, correct?
No, I'm not.
Not in clinical psychology or in forensic psychology, correct?
No, I'm a licensed clinical psychologist.
But you're not board certified.
No,
Okay. And you also have only been practicing approximately 8 years, is that correct?
that's not correct.
How many years?
I've been licensed for 10 years
Okay.
and I've been practicing for about 15 years.
Okay. And that includes what you went through with your different trials in Hawaii and everything else that you testified to, correct?
Yes,
Okay. Now, you went to Mr. Depp's home for dinner and drinks before you were hired as an expert in this case, correct?
that's not quite right. I was interviewed at Mr. Depp's home by his legal team. Dinner was served.
You, in attendance with Mr. Depp was Adam Waldman, correct?
Yes,
Ben Chu, correct?
yes,
Camille Vasquez,
yes.
okay. And the dinner lasted
Want to know some shit? This is how much got printed and the printer failed. I love it. So now I'm going to have to start all over.
No.
Yep. I only got half a head here.
That's what
Some-
she said.
You're so wrong, Jess. That's why I enjoy you so much. Well, damn. And it was coming along pretty good. I hadn't even got to the eyes yet. What? Yeah, like the face. Good portion of it is in there.
Wait, so what happened? Why did it
Print-
stop?
Something with the heat bed. Some sort
Oh.
of thing happened with the heat bed, and it said, and then it said just reset. So I hit reset, and then it said it wouldn't load the print back up, so I can't do anything. That's all right. I'll just write new code for it and redo it. It's okay. Happens. I love it. Oh well. So if I'm off the screen for a little bit, I'm still listening. Just doggone it. It'll take about 3 days to print the damn thing.
It's fine.
I was in day 2 of it. I love it.
There to put it at like the speed it up or
Oh, you can't. It does. Well, my plan is to change the amount of
video.
infill that I'm doing. So,
the stream.
oh yeah, stream. I can do that. Yeah, I'm an idiot.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am, but that's okay.
No, you're not. You're not. We're gonna throw hands at Dollywood if you
Ooh,
say
let's do it.
anything.
I
about yourself.
I'm up for it. Let's do it. Let's do
All
it.
right, we will. We're gonna throw hands at Dollywood, and we're gonna record it and go viral.
We
We're
will
gonna put it
We
on
will.
World Star.
You know, I got the 2 girls in a cup on, and I even time stamped it from last night. Yeah.
What up, girl?
Hey, young, how you doing? All right. There we go.
approximately 3 to 4 hours, correct?
Yes,
And it included
interview.
drinks, correct?
yes. Dinner and I believe drinks were served.
And this was before you were hired as an expert, correct?
Yes, this was an interview so that they could make an informed decision as to whether or not to retain me.
And don't you think that's a little odd that you're getting interviewed by Mr. Depp to decide whether you're going to testify adversely against Amber Heard?
I was interviewed by the legal team.
And Mr. Depp was present. It was his home, correct?
Yes,
And he was serving dinner and drinks.
he was
Correct.
not serving dinner and drinks.
Well, it was at his house, at his behest, correct?
Yes, it was at his house.
Okay. And you were contacted by Camille Vasquez, somebody you knew in the community in February of 2020. Is that correct?
I knew of Ms. Vasquez professionally. We live in the same city and I work with many attorneys.
And at that time, you not only knew Johnny Depp, you'd seen a number of his TV and movie roles, and you believed he was a good actor, correct?
Not correct. I did not know Johnny Depp. I
Well,
had
you knew
seen
of
several of
him.
his movies.
You knew who he was.
Yes,
Right. And you believed he was a good actor.
yes.
correct? Okay. And then you provided an expert designation in this case before ever seeing Amber or having an opportunity to review any documents or records. Isn't that correct?
I did not provide an expert designation. That's an attorney thing. My opinions are contained in my report.
Let's pull up plaintiff's exhibit 884, please. This was plaintiff's designation, identification of expert witnesses in this case. And this is dated February 2021. That's a year after you went to dinner at Mr. Depp's house, correct?
Yes,
Okay. And it attributes, if you go to page 13, it says you have 3 opinions. The first of those is that Amber Heard, quote, exhibits patterns of behavior that are consistent with co-occurring cluster B personality disorder traits, especially borderline personality disorder. Did I get that right?
I'm reading that here. That is not my opinion.
Okay.
Well,
but
it's a current
attorney-
opinion, but this was not an opinion of mine then. I didn't have any opinions at that time.
It says Dr. Curry will testify, correct?
That's what it says, yes.
Okay. And this is a signed pleading, correct? On behalf of Mr. Depp.
I'm not sure I understand what that means.
You don't understand what a signed pleading is?
No,
Okay. Do you understand that Mr. Depp's counsel prepared this and served it on Ms. Heard's counsel?
I'm not an attorney. I don't understand necessarily all of these procedures.
Are you aware that Mr. Depp is on an audio recording years earlier taunting Amber Heard that she has a borderline personality disorder?
I was made aware of that in this case, yes.
So you did, is that one
Actually,
of the audio
not
tapes you
necessarily
listened to?
taunting, but I do recall hearing that Mr. Depp had used that phrase.
So it's a coincidence that you now think she has those attributes after the attorneys listed it in February 2021 before you'd looked at anything, and Mr. Depp had made that accusation to Ms. Heard years earlier.
My opinions aren't based on coincidence.
It's objection. I'm
Okay,
sorry, Dr.
okay.
Yes. Compound, I'll sustain the objection.
All right.
Yeah,
It's a
You're gonna
coincidence
hammer
then
her on
that
this.
you came up with symptoms of borderline personality disorder years later after Mr. Depp
Woman
has
is
been
horrible.
in Ms. Heard in an
Brenda
audio
off.
I
calling
can't speak to whether or not there's a coincidence, but I can tell you is my opinions are based on the results of my evaluation.
And it's a coincidence that Mr. Depp's counsel attributed that to you, that said that to you in February 2021 before you'd looked at anything, correct?
I'm not
Don't
sure.
know.
Okay. Now, would you agree that a disproportionate number of women are tagged with a diagnosis of borderline personality disorder?
I don't know.
No, that's not quite right.
75%?
The way you phrased it is not quite right.
Tell me what's right.
Okay, so
Oh, don't do
there
that.
are more women who have been diagnosed with bipolar disorder than men. It's more prevalent in women.
And trauma can cause borderline personality disorders, can't it?
No.
Never?
Right now, we know that there are people who have borderline personality disorder who have sustained childhood trauma. There are also people who have borderline personality disorder who have had no childhood trauma. So like most personality disorders, and really like most mental health issues in general, there seems to be both a biological component. In this case, with borderline personality disorder, the research tends to support a genetic component and possibly a neurological component. And then there is also possibly an environmental component triggering those genetic markers.
Do you know the percentage of women who are victims of IPV, intimate partner violence, or domestic abuse who are diagnosed with borderline personality disorders?
I can't tell you the percentage off at the top of my head, but I do know that there is a larger, women with borderline personality disorder tend to have a higher prevalence of being involved in intimate partner violence relationships, being the receiver of violence, and being the perpetuators of violence.
Now, you've never been asked to testify or serve as an expert with respect to whether someone has a bipolar disorder. Is that correct?
A bipolar disorder?
Yes.
That's not correct.
Okay.
Come on, Elaine, get your shit together. What's wrong with you?
What's up, Slop Murphy? Good to see you.
Bear with
Hey,
me.
Slap.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you recall having your deposition taken in this case
Yes,
on March 21?
Sent.
I believe that was the date, yes.
And were you under oath at that
Hmm.
time?
Yes,
All right, I'm going to ask you to turn to page 207. And the question was, have you ever been asked to testify or serve as an expert with respect to whether someone has bipolar disorder? And your answer at that time, will you please read to the jury?
I'm sorry, page 207.
207.
Yeah,
line
I
5.
would. I would probably do a little simping for Curry.
No,
Okay, thank you. Now, when this designation was served in February of 2021, you had not rendered an opinion that, quote, Ms. Heard exhibits patterns of behavior that are consistent with co-occurring cluster B personality disorder traits, especially borderline personality disorder, correct?
I'm sorry, I missed the first part. What was that?
When this designation was served that you have in front of you as plaintiff's exhibit
Oh,
884,
okay.
you had not rendered an opinion that, quote, Ms. Heard exhibits patterns of behavior that are consistent with co-occurring cluster B personality disorder traits, especially borderline personality disorder, correct?
No, I had not rendered any opinions. My opinions weren't finalized until after my evaluation.
So when this came out, you had not rendered that opinion.
I had not rendered that opinion.
Okay. The second opinion that's listed in the February 2021 is that Ms. Heard repeatedly and characterologically perpetuated severe physical and psychological intimate partner violence, IPV, toward Mr. Depp over the course of their relationship. End of quote. Did I read that correctly?
It says perpetrated, but other than that, yes.
Okay. And so is it correct that
I'll be
this
back
pleading
after
says
restart
in
my
February
computer.
2021 that you are going to
You got to
testify?
restart your computer.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
being
This document?
lame.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, mine. Oh, I'm gonna do a couple of things here. Give me. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. That's fine.
Okay.
There we go. Got that back. Make this happen. Curry just eats her alive. It's glorious in its own way. I must not lie. Hey, Jacob, over there on the Rumble side. What's up? What's up? What's up? I forgot to open up Rumble last night, so I had no idea. She got that bad librarian look down.
It says that.
And you have never been asked to testify as to whether anyone has behaviorally or characterologically conducted conduct that suggests they may be an IPV perpetrator, correct? I've
yeah.
asked that again because I
Yes.
stumbled. I can't
Thank
do
you.
characterologically. That one's just a
Okay.
tough one for me. Okay. You have never been asked to testify as to whether anyone has behavioral or characterological conduct that suggests they may have been an IPV perpetrator, correct?
No, I've never been asked to testify for that.
Okay. And that was not your opinion in February 2021, correct?
No,
And in fact, you do not hold that opinion now, and you were not even asked to provide such an analysis or opinion. Isn't that correct?
or that is correct.
That's
Yes.
correct. Okay. And you have never held that opinion, correct?
No, that is correct. Yes.
Okay. And your third opinion, if we can go to page 14, was that Ms. Heard exhibits patterns of behavior that suggest her allegations of abuse against Mr. Depp are false. End of quote. Do you see that?
I see that. You said it's my third opinion. That is not my opinion.
All right. But in this pleading, it says that you will testify to that, correct?
Yes, that's what this says.
Okay. And that was not your opinion in February 2021, was it?
No, as I said, I had not formed any opinions at that time. I had just been retained.
And in fact, you have never arrived at this opinion as an expert witness in this case, correct?
In terms of
So
the
right.
opinions that I've
So true.
rendered are provided in my report.
And you
And they're
have,
what I'm testifying to today.
and you have never arrived at this opinion as an expert witness in this case, correct?
I'll sustain.
You have never arrived at the opinion that Ms. Heard exhibits patterns of behavior that suggest her allegations of abuse against Mr. Depp are false, correct?
That's correct.
And in fact, you've said that has never been my opinion, correct?
What I'm saying is that the opinions in here, these are not my opinions. My opinions are provided in my report.
Can you please turn to page 255?
Oh, Jesus, Elaine, you're not getting it. They're about to
Your
get
position.
up in front of the judge because
And if we could start on 254 to give the
I don't have
context.
that page. I'm sorry.
254, line 11.
Oh, okay.
And the question is now, the next one is, quote, Ms. Heard exhibits patterns of behavior that suggest her allegations of abuse against Mr. Depp are false, end of quote. Was that your opinion in February 2021? And you answered at that time, no, correct?
That is correct.
And then I asked, have you ever arrived at that opinion in the time that you have served as an expert witness in this case? And your answer was, could you read that to the jury, please?
Yes. So no, it's not the task. I was cut off, or essentially what I wrote, what I said then was, no,
Dr.
that's not
Curry,
the
okay.
task of Dash. That was never my task to determine. Can I say what that means?
No. And then the
Okay.
question is, so is it fair to say that you have never arrived at an opinion that, quote, Ms. Heard exhibits patterns of behavior that suggest allegations of abuse against Mr. Depp are false, end of quote. And what was your answer?
Well, there was an objection.
All right, I'll read it for you if you're having difficulty.
no,
Your
I'm-
answer was under oath, correct. That is not my opinion. That has never been my opinion. Isn't that what you
Correct,
said under
yes.
oath on March 21st?
Yes.
And then I wrote,
She'll
then I would
continue to
ask you,
say
do
it.
you know who wrote this portion of the designation suggesting that these were your opinions in February of 2021?
Hey, Jamie.
And what was
Good
your
to see you,
answer?
I
girl.
said no.
Good to see you.
As of the time of this initial expert designation, you had not reviewed any materials, reached any opinions, correct?
I believe I had just started to review materials. I believe that I indicated that in my deposition. I had not yet rendered any opinions. I hadn't completed my review and I hadn't conducted an evaluation.
And in
Ooh,
fact, you've never testified as an expert on IPV, intimate partner violence. Isn't that correct?
that's what she said.
I believe that is correct, but I may not be remembering all of my cases.
Well, let's go to page 200.
Okay.
Crazy woman.
Line 17.
Oh my.
My question was, have you ever testified as an expert on IPV? And your answer under oath then at line 22 was what?
Oh gosh, let me catch up. Line 22. No,
And you've never testified as an expert on emotional distress damages associated with IPV. Is that correct?
that's correct.
And you've never been asked to testify with respect to emotional damages associated with domestic violence or abuse. Isn't that correct?
That's what she said.
Again, I'm reluctant to say that's correct because with 15 years of experience, a lot of my cases have been complex and it may have been a component, but I don't remember explicitly a case being just about that.
Let's go to
Correct.
page 199, line 20. My question to you was, have you ever been asked to testify with respect to emotional damages associated with domestic violence or abuse? And your answer under oath at that time was,
No,
I've not, right?
sorry, I
Isn't that
haven't
what
found
you
the
said?
page in time,
Okay, you said, no, I've not.
but I have
Right?
not.
I could wait for one too.
Now, you also have never been asked to testify on whether an individual is being truthful, in saying
Absolutely.
that they are a survivor of
Hey.
IPV. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Good to see you.
And you have
Johnny
never
Depp.
qualified as an expert to speak to whether a person suffered from IPV, intimate partner violence, or was a victim or survivor of IPV. Is that
That's not
correct?
what her task was.
That's outside the task of a psychologist
There you go.
to determine whether an event occurred. We assess behavior, we assess mental status, we don't detect crimes.
So you have not been asked to testify to that, correct?
It's not something that occurs, so no, I have not.
And you were not ultimately asked to provide any opinions on that, correct?
No, I was not.
Okay. Now, you did not disclose in any of the designations or your report that you
Yes,
had met with and had dinner and drinks with Mr. Depp, did you?
it is.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that one more time?
Yes,
That
you did
confused
not
me.
disclose in any of the designations or in your,
She doesn't need to. Good Lord. Elaine, you're an idiot. Just, oh my God. And Ben Chu is just sitting there going, wow, woman, you're wasting your time asking these questions that you think have some sort of relevance, but they don't. Her job when she was hired on as a psychologist was to get a sense of Amber Heard's state of mind, her mental abilities, her attitude, because the claims that they were making were that she's crazy, and she's saying, no, I'm not. Well, then it's stupid. This woman is Elaine is an idiot. Just like she's saying this designation, she's basically trying to say this designation was made before you even saw her. Yes. And it's not, because it's irrelevant. She's asking questions that are legal questions, not Elaine's a moron, just a complete moron. She does, and just like Lex says, so sad. She thinks she's scoring points, and she's just jealous. I don't know about ridiculous. Yeah, she is ridiculous. I thought she said jealous. I was like, well, what woman could not be jealous of that? I'm just saying.
dinner and
Elaine,
drinks with Mr.
microphone.
Depp, correct?
I did not disclose that I was interviewed by the legal team, no.
She doesn't
I
need
asked a
to.
different question.
And she gave you the answer because it has nothing to do whether she sat down and had dinner with Johnny Depp or the President of the United States. It has nothing to do with it. I mean, this is the
think-
person that you're hiring. They have the right to sit down with whoever they want to.
For me, the whole time it felt like Elaine kept trying to talk down to her, like, "Oh, you don't have enough experience." Like, that's what it sounded like to me. Like, "Oh, you're not board certified. You don't have experience."
Yeah. I'd like to certify Elaine with a board. Just feeling grumpy. Good to see you, Sal. Oh my God.
Are you trying to resist that? You didn't have
Jamie,
Yes, Jamie's been in here. She's awesome.
dinner with Mr. Depp and drinks?
I'm not trying to resist
She
that. but
didn't
it's
have
not
drinks.
Quite right.
She had dinner, and there
You
might have
had
been
dinner
drinks.
with Mr. Depp, did you not?
I did with
And
his
you had
legal
drinks
team
with
and
Mr.
Mr.
Depp,
Depp.
did you not?
And what?
You had drinks with Mr. Depp, did you not?
Drinks were served. This was over 2 years ago. I may have had a drink with dinner. Yes,
In fact, you thought you had a mule something, right?
possibly.
Yes, okay. And you didn't disclose that you had met with Mr. Depp, Mr. Waldman, Mr. Chu, and Ms. Vasquez at Mr. Depp's house for 3 to 4 hours and had dinner and drinks, correct?
I did not disclose that. It's not significant to the report.
You don't think that's significant, correct?
I don't.
Okay, but you've never been asked to meet with a client in his counsel before being retained as an expert, either before or after, have you?
No.
And you justified that it was okay in this case because it was a high-profile case.
That's not quite right. I justified it in this case. Actually, I sought consultation about it. First of all, the person who had retained his attorneys was unable to come to my office with his attorneys. And yes, this is a very visible case. It's been going on a very long time. And I understood that there would be a need to interview me and make an informed decision about my qualifications.
Boom. Someone
Can
just
you
got
flip to
slapped
page
down.
240, please. Line 3 is my question. Would you agree it's highly irregular to meet with the subject in a litigation? And your answer on that occasion was, I would not say it's highly irregular. I would say it's not something that I would typically do. However, I had not yet been retained on the case. This was a large, high-profile case. And I understood that I believed that it was appropriate for a person retaining me with such a high profile to meet me, to be able to vet me, essentially with the attorneys present prior to retaining me on his case.
Yeah.
Do you recall that?
Yes.
That's what you
There's
said.
nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
And then I said, have you ever done that before? And you said, no. Correct?
Correct.
And then I said, have you ever done it since? And you said, no. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, would you agree that if you did not find something that would be in favor of Mr. Depp and negative to Ms. Heard, that you wouldn't be an expert in this case? That I can bring
Essentially-
you into court if you're going to say that Ms. Heard is right and Mr. Depp is wrong, correct?
So as a forensic psychologist, my obligation is to the court, is to the fact finder. I present science regardless of what that science may be. Now, when I take a case, my retainer agreement is explicit about that, and I discuss
That's
that
clear.
with the attorneys.
I'm asking you a question. I'd like you to try to answer my
Okay.
question.
She's
You
not gonna
understand
lie
that
to
if
you.
found favorably to Ms. Heard and negatively to Mr. Depp, you wouldn't be here, right? You wouldn't be testifying.
I don't know.
No, okay, sorry.
Hold on. The objection is speculation.
That's not speculation.
No, I'll
Yeah.
say the objection if you want to ask.
Okay. If,
Go ahead, Elaine. You're rattled.
She's so frustrated. She's
like,
frustrated
yeah.
right now so bad.
We sustain the objection. Next question.
okay, all right.
She just can't figure out how
You
to.
were, in fact, so excited about being
do
involved
this.
in this case that you told your husband, even though this was a highly confidential matter, that you were going to be conducting the examination of Ms. Heard, didn't you?
That is not accurate.
You not only told your husband, but you told Ms. Heard that you told your husband, correct?
Ms. Bredoff, that is not accurate.
What is accurate?
You're incorrect. That is not correct.
Is your testimony today under oath that you did not tell your husband that you were going to be conducting the examination of Amber?
That is my testimony.
Uh-huh. Well, and this comes back to her. You know why she asked that question? Because her husband made some cookies, which he does all the time, or some brownies or some crap like that. And
Those
she,
muffins that he took to the office.
yeah. Well, no, I think she took him to the office and just offered her a muffin. So that her
Oh, I
husband
thought
made.
he dropped them off.
He might have, but that was something that he would do on a regular basis anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just that kind of guy that's just like, hey, bring this for my wife. Yeah, Dr. Muffins. That's right. Dr. Muffins. Hey, dance, biker dance. Yeah, this is Elaine's moron.
Let's go to page 306.
Hey, Zero Max 1998. Good to see you. Brownie points. Mm-hmm.
So the question that was asked was because you brought muffins, you said from your husband, right? You gave those to Miss Heard, correct?
That's right. That's how she got the new Dr.
May I
Muffins.
clarify what occurred so that we can stop talking about the muffins? What happened was that I was getting ready that morning. I frequently bring muffins to the office. My husband did happen to know that there was going to be a celebrity client coming in because on the mornings that occurs, which often
Hey,
occurs,
Biker,
we have
good
to
to
actually
see
clear the
you.
office and move the staff to the other office. So yes, on the one hand, he was aware of that. I was getting ready. I asked him to go to the bakery near our house and pick up the muffins for
Sickanees.
me because it was running late. He often has
And you
to do that
better
because I
answer me
often
in
do run
Greek in
late.
the chat.
He brought the muffins back to the house. I brought them into the office. Ms. Heard and I enjoyed the muffins together. I think I made a comment to her along the lines like, we can thank my husband. My husband got these for us today, meaning he purchased the muffins. We are now enjoying them because of him.
Did you say on pages 305 and 306 that you frequently had examinations?
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
What are we talking about?
Is there a line you'd like me to look at?
You start with 15, line 15, 305.
There we go.
Through that and tell me whether you said anywhere in there that you have
Calabas,
examinations, you do this frequently. I don't agree.
I want your approach, please.
Yeah. See, Elaine's a moron. And even Ben's just like, oh my God, she is just ruining this. She didn't read any of what was happening. She has no idea. She's
I
completely
mean, if
lost.
Elaine can pass the bar, I don't see why I shouldn't be able to.
Yeah. I mean, you know what they call the person that comes at the bottom of their class in law school that passes the bar?
What?
Esquire.
True.
Like all you have to
You're
do is
still a
pass.
lawyer.
All you have
So-
to do is pass the bar.
Why did
Yep.
your husband get the muffins for Amber Heard?
He did not get the muffins for Amber Heard.
He knew you had a high profile client and you were preparing for a very long time and you asked him to pick up the muffins, correct?
I asked him to pick up the muffins for me, yes.
Okay.
Can we get off the muffins?
Now, would you
And get
agree
on
that
hers.
domestic abuse can be verbal?
Bless you.
Absolutely, yes.
Bless
Would
you.
you agree that domestic abuse can be emotional?
Thank you.
Yes, certainly.
I think
Would
Elaine
you
might
agree-
be craving some muffins.
She's
Maybe.
baking muffins. You think she's baking muffins?
No, she's craving them.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's like, tell your husband to bring me some muffins. The fuck?
you should pass it taking only 3/4. Oh yeah.
Eric's done. I'm
Right.
always sleepy. Leave me alone.
Yeah. First I thought it was an act by Elaine, then I realized no, she's just a moron. Yep, Ellie Font. That is correct.
Logical.
Yes,
Would you agree that domestic abuse can be physical?
yes,
Now, you indicated, and I believe you testified in your direct, that it's very important to review the treatment records before forming opinions. Is that correct?
yes.
Okay, in fact, that's the first thing you would do, correct?
Not necessarily the first, but it's part of the evaluation.
Go to page 261.
Oh, sound a little more condescending there, Elaine.
And let's go to 260 because that's where it starts.
Ellie Font.
The question I asked was, and do you recall whether you'd review any of the reviews by the
Hi,
publication on
Ellie.
February 19, 2021? And you said, okay, I can't say for certain. What I can tell you is that knowing my normal procedure, I would have reviewed the treatment records first. Did you testify to that under oath then?
Yes,
Okay. Now, before we start getting into the ones that you testified about, I just want to be really clear about what you actually have as an opinion with respect to the borderline personality disorder and the histrionics. You didn't diagnose, you didn't actually have a DSM-5 diagnosis that Amber Heard suffers from either borderline personality disorder or histrionic personality disorder, correct?
that's not correct.
in fact, your report.
That's not
says
correct.
Ms. Heard demonstrates psychological symptoms of a combined borderline and histrionic
Lane.
personality disorder. Do you
Oh,
agree?
Lane.
Yes, I did say that.
I don't
and
think
also
she
what
realizes
designation was set,
that
I
like
believe January
being a twat
18th, that report was included.
makes people not want to
Yes.
take you
Okay.
seriously.
And that's what you said at that
Yes.
point, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
I said a little bit more than that as well.
And Lane is good at that,
You said,
Mhm.
but she doesn't want to read
Read
the
it,
rest
I'll
of
quote
what
it.
was said.
quote, based on the combined results of my interview with Ms. Heard, behavioral observations, psychometric test data, and review of the available records, Ms. Heard demonstrates psychological symptoms
Mhm.
of a combined
Mhm.
borderline and histrionic personality disorder, BHPD. That's
Yes.
what you
That's
wrote
what
in
she
your
said.
report as one of your conclusions,
And
correct?
that's a DSM-5 diagnosis.
And it did not say that you were diagnosing with a DSM-5 for borderline personality disorder or histrionic personality disorder, did it?
That's what it says in different semantics.
Oh, so what you meant to say.
It did not use the words you just said.
that you said that you reviewed, but I'm going to start with Rocky Pennington. Your testimony was that out of the blue, Rocky Pennington, correct?
I can't remember exactly what I said, but I did reference Ms. Pennington's deposition that Ms. Heard struck Ms. Pennington in the face.
In
Yes.
fact, Ms. Pennington testified that she hit Ms. Heard. And in response to that, she can't recall, but Ms. Heard either pushed or slapped her, correct?
I don't recall.
Holy cow. X-Comer.
Thanks, Comer.
Thanks. Appreciate that. That's awesome. We love it. Love it being a member. So what is your little crew called there?
He's in the Habibi crew.
The Habibi crew?
So I have 3 levels. I have Habibi support, which is 99 cents a month. Habibi gang, which is $2.99, and then $4.99 for Habibi crew.
Wow. Yeah, mine are $1.99. I don't even remember. They're all nuts though. Let's put it that way. All of my people are nuts. I love them for it too.
That's a pretty important distinction, don't you think?
My recollection is that there was some sort of violence both ways in the relationship. Either way, it seems that both of them might have been unstable.
Oh,
I'm
now
only
we-
evaluating Ms. Heard.
So now we have an evaluation of Rocky Pennington?
No,
from-
I just said, but that was not relevant to my opinion because I'm only evaluating Ms. Heard.
But you testified to that on direct that was a factor, right?
Yes,
Okay, well, wouldn't it make a big difference if Amber struck first or just responded?
Yeah, funny story.
within the
The
dynamic-
Yelp for Elaine's office, it got flooded with bad reviews and they ended up taking it down. So, yeah.
People don't do that. I mean, it's funny, but don't do that. That's not kind. That's just not kind. I mean, you should only be reviewing somebody if you've actually worked with them, not something that you've seen on TV, because that doesn't give good representation of them all the time. But it's still funny.
necessarily. No, it would not have.
So now you're an expert on Rocky Pennington and her dynamics with Amber Heard. I'll withdraw. Okay, so now let's talk about Dr. Cowan. You not only reviewed his treatment records and his text messages and documents, but you also attended his deposition, did you not?
Yes,
Okay, and do you recall Dr. Cowan testifying that Amber told him about Depp physically abusing her contemporaneous with the events?
I don't recall specifically his words, but I remember him recalling that she had disclosed abuse in their treatment. Yes.
And do you recall Dr. Cowan testifying that he received a text message contemporaneous that Johnny did a number on me tonight. I'm safe in my support tonight, but I need some real help. Do you remember him testifying to that?
I don't remember the testimony, but I do remember seeing that text message as one of the exhibits.
And do you remember Dr. Cowan testifying that on another occasion, Amber sent him a text, Johnny beat me up pretty good last night, end of quote.
Again,
Not in this instance. She can rely on it. She testified.
Overruled.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. I didn't need to argue that hard, I guess. Do you recall that?
She's like the woman that tries too hard. I guess I didn't need to try to argue that hard.
I don't know about that, Lex, because for a while, Amber's insurance company was even suing her because I believe basically the only way they would have paid for the lawyers would have been if she had actually won the case and used the lawyers that they wanted her to hire, but she decided to bring in her own lawyers. So I'm not quite sure about that. I know that her like Breda Hoft and basically her
Rottenborn.
team that she had right now or during the trial, they all ended up resigning and they've been living pretty low key since then.
Yeah.
I think they're embarrassed having been associated with her. So I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, you're I didn't know about that second part, but I did know that that her insurance company was suing her because whenever you have a case like this, and we run into it quite often, like with title insurance and stuff like that, the insurance company will actually send someone out to like be the attorney for, because they're representing the interest of that insurance company. A lot of times they'll just sit back and they'll let another attorney handle it that's more experienced with it. Not all the time. Some of them are actually pretty top-notch lawyers, and they want to try to get things settled out the best way they can.
Yeah.
But because Elaine, not Elaine, but it might as well be Elaine. Amber, her, if you watch it, it looks like this is the divorce proceeding that she never got, and she's basically just trying to throw everything at him, but the kitchen sink. She would make a horrible spouse. I'm just if she was like this, you wouldn't want to get divorced, because it would just be such a pain. Like this is what gives like divorces a really bad name, is this kind of stuff right
Yeah.
here. And this plays more like a divorce hearing than it does what did they call it? Slander. It's horrible. Yeah, two insurance companies fighting over who was going to pay, and now the ends over who was going to collect because she was defamatory and at fault. Yeah. I mean, even if she's at fault, the insurance company will usually cover up to a certain point. But yeah, I'm sure Sal does think he can fix her.
Again, I don't recall the testimony, but I do remember that being an exhibit. I've seen it.
Do you recall Dr. Cowan testifying that not only did he believe Amber in her reporting of the abuse by Depp, but that she had no ulterior motive?
I actually don't recall that. I'm not saying that it didn't occur.
Okay. Do you recall Dr. Cowan testifying that he believed the relationship was toxic and he was concerned?
This has
for
nothing to
Amber's
do
physical
with
well-being?
this.
I do recall him saying that he believed the relationship was toxic.
And you don't recall
I do
Dr.
not.
Cowan saying that he was concerned for Amber's physical well-being?
I don't remember those exact words.
Do you recall Dr. Cowan testifying in that deposition that you were present for, referring to Mr. Depp, quote, his controlling nature, jealousy and suspiciousness, addiction to drugs and alcohol, and violent and indulgent temper? Do you recall?
And I'm wondering, is that Dr. Cowan? Is that the guy with the?
Doofenshmirtz.
Yeah.
I call him Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
Yeah, that guy.
No, I
that's
think
Doc-
Dr. Cowan was the guy. He was the doctor that was originally working with Johnny, I think.
Maybe. No, that was a different doctor. I'm pretty sure. That was Dr. Kipper who was working with Johnny.
Oh, let me see.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Dr. Cowan was Duper Smith or whatever you call him. Yeah, that guy. But could be wrong. Uh-oh. What do we have here? We've got...
Hello guys, it's Jovan, and you know what time it is? Disco time!
I thought that was T-Rex's thing.
It's whoever I want it to be. Good
Yeah.
to see you, man. Good to see you. Oh boy.
Oh dear. I hear Elaine's voice. and I was like, oh, I made bad decisions.
Yeah. You hear Lane's voice and you go,
One eternity later.
Yeah, exactly.
oh my.
Call him
Oh,
using
boy.
those terms to describe Mr. Depp.
I remember thinking that would be an inappropriate.
So how you doing tonight, brother?
I'm good, man. It was a long day. I've been in meetings literally all day, and yeah,
Oof,
it was
fun.
interesting. So, yeah,
Yeah, that always sucks. That always
Yeah.
sucks.
but some good laughs. We'll be good.
Yeah. Oof. Let's do it.
Impression for a treating provider of a different person to give.
No,
but I do
Doofenshmirtz is
recall
not
him making that
Dr.
statement.
Cohen.
Do you recall Dr.
I just found a picture of him with Heard.
Yeah, let's see.
I'll put it in the private for you. The link.
Okay. Right,
Is even that?
That's so wrong. It looks at Amber Heard with author Colin Cohen. So he's just a writer. He's not a doctor.
He's a psychiatrist and an author.
Oh, okay.
He has a PhD.
Okay.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is he really though?
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. You know, so is you know who else is a PhD? Jill Biden. She's got a PhD.
Did you say Joe or Jill?
Jill.
Oh, is she? Okay.
Yeah, she's a
Oh
PhD.
God, if Joe Biden was a doctor, yikes.
Yeah. Piled high, more like piled high deep shit. Dip shit. Sorry.
testifying that if he pushed her, she was going to push him back. And I never had the impression that she was the provocateur, but that she was indicating to me she had a hard time, de-escalating these types of situations.
Yes.
Okay. And do you also recall him saying that she didn't say she pushed him, she just said, I got right back up. She told me that he pushed her down and she got back
knocked
right
down,
back up.
and I got up.
I remember
again.
him saying that.
Ain't
Ms.
never
Heard
gonna
told
keep
him
me
that, yes.
down.
And do you recall
Yeah.
him testifying, you could interpret it that way? I kind of interpret it more, metaphorically, that when somebody comes at her, she goes back at them, in a similar way, whether it's verbally or she protects herself. Do you recall that?
I recall something along those lines, but it was a 6 or 7 hour deposition, so the specifics are not fresh in my mind.
Do you recall Dr. Cowan specifically testifying that he believed Amber Heard when she reported the physical abuse by Mr. Depp?
I recall him saying that and following it up with a statement that you have to take the patient at their word when you're the therapist.
You recall that?
Yes?
Do you recall him saying that he believed her, that he found her believable?
Yes, that he found her believable.
Okay. Now, you also testified about Amy Banks. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And before we go there, Dr. Cowan has been a clinical psychologist for 40 years, correct?
I'm not sure.
Okay, well, he testified to that, didn't he, in the deposition?
I don't recall.
And he also saw Amber Heard for over 2 years, correct?
Yes.
From 2014, approximately August 2014 to 2000 through 2016, correct?
Yes, he did.
For a period of time. Would you agree? Okay. And he also testified that he did not diagnose Amber with borderline personality disorder. Do you recall that testimony?
He also testified that he doesn't use diagnoses, but yes, I do recall that.
And do you recall that it was those words were in his notes, but he said he had written that down, but then he discounted it and determined that that was not correct for her.
Oh, you want to approach?
These are things that he's writing down that may have no relevance to her whatsoever. Jesus. Yeah,
All right, now let's jump to Amy Banks.
yeah.
Dr. Banks is a psychiatrist.
She got her ass handed to her on that one. It's just like,
Correct?
Yes.
And that she went to medical school at Georgetown and she did her psychiatric training at
what is up there, T-Rex? Good to see you. Good to see you.
Harvard Medical School, correct?
I believe that's correct. I don't recall 100%.
All right, and she was a psychiatrist in Massachusetts that Amber Heard had reached out to
Yes,
after the Australia incident to try to help her relationship with Mr. Depp, correct? Let me back up. You attended Dr. Banks' deposition as well, did you not?
yes, I did.
And Dr. Banks testified to that, correct?
I don't remember if she testified to that. I don't have the notes right in front of me or the deposition transcript.
All right. Do you recall Dr. Banks testifying that she understood that Amber was in a relationship with Johnny Depp that had gotten violent and out of control?
I don't recall specifically, no.
Do you recall Amy Banks testifying that they had physical altercations and his drug use had escalated and Amber felt she was at risk?
I don't recall.
Do you recall Amy Banks testifying that Amber was reporting the violence by Mr. Depp and it was not consensual?
I recall Dr. Banks stating that Ms. Heard was reporting violence to her, yes. I do not recall a statement about,
Love that word so
Consent.
much.
Do you recall Dr. Banks testifying?
He has a
that
wrench
there
because
was
I gave it to
discussion
him.
About Mr. Depp cutting
Yeah.
off his finger, and she said only. that
I
it
can
was
time you
middle of
out.
one of these
Watch
very
this.
Kind of out of control.
I'm going to time you out for 1 minute.
Oh. Well, there you go. You just got timed out for a minute. Guess you'll learn.
Escalated fights, and that did make a fairly big impact on me.
I remember something like that.
All right. And do you recall Dr. Banks saying it was a whole other level? As I remember, it told to me he actually cut off a part of his finger during one of these altercations, meaning to me, the way I digested that, if you will, was that things had gotten particularly out of control.
I do not recall that exact statement. I'm not saying it didn't occur. I just can't recall it.
All right. And you recall that Mr. Depp was in sessions with Ms. Heard with Dr. Banks, correct?
Yes, my
Okay.
understanding, however, is that they met with Dr. Banks and then it was primarily Ms. Heard meeting with Dr. Banks for treatment after prescriptions and therapy.
All right. And do you recall Dr. Banks
Piss
saying that she
yourself,
was
you
not
fucking
Amber was
idiot.
taking a restraining order
He just
because
went
of the
into
violence
Shizzy's
that she
chest
knew
then.
existed in the relationship?
I do recall that, and it would be impossible to know as a treating therapist or as a psychologist. Again,
Hey,
I'm not
KLI.
investigating.
KLI.
However, I
Watch,
do recall that
listen,
she
make
said
sure
that
you're listening,
because I do-
KLI.
Fist yourself, you fucking idiot.
Do you recall Amy, and she was a psychiatrist, right?
Psychiatrist.
Okay. And do you recall Amy Banks saying that it was clear to her that Mr. Depp was the one who initiated the violence?
I don't recall that.
All right. Do you recall that Dr. Banks said that she knew for certain that Mr. Depp was the one who had committed the violence because Ms. Heard reported it in the presence of Mr. Depp and he did not contradict?
I do not recall that.
Okay. And do you recall that Dr. Banks ultimately concluded that it was her belief that Amber was a victim of domestic violence at the hands of Mr. Depp?
Here, you wanna approach this?
Oh boy.
Oh, wow.
Oh boy. More fuckery. I swear that the candy cane over there is wearing a pussy hat.
Kind of thought the same thing, actually. That I was like, is that a pussy hat?
Or a boob hat or something.
Uh,
Some
yeah.
anime stuff. I don't know. It's weird.
Anime. I knew an anime. She was nice.
See? That whatever this thing is, don't do that. That's bad.
What was your answer to that last one? I'm sorry.
I think I can't recall, but I also can't recall that last question.
Do you recall that Dr. Banks concluded that Amber was a victim of domestic violence at the hands of Mr. Depp?
I don't recall that.
Okay. Now, you also reviewed the records of Laurel Anderson and you reviewed her deposition. Is that correct?
Let me refresh my memory for a moment. I reviewed Dr. Anderson's deposition, yes.
Okay. And do you recall that she reported that Amber Heard had reported physical violence by Mr. Depp to her?
I recall that she said that Ms. Heard had reported that, yes.
Okay. And do you recall that she said that it changed over time?
I don't
I
recall
saw that joke
specifically.
yesterday. I don't know who did
Do you
it.
recall Dr.
Fine.
Anderson saying that
Fine,
she had
T-Rex.
witnessed her face being bruised?
Ooh.
on December 15th.
There you go.
2015 Incident?
I don't recall that.
You don't recall that, okay. And do you recall that Dr. Anderson said that Amber had reported that he had pulled out her hair, bruised her face, kicked her leg, and hit her in the head.
Yes, Ms. Heard did report that to her according to her testimony.
And do you recall?
What are you doing,
that Amber
Chizzy?
Heard said that Mr. Depp was scaring her.
I don't recall that specifically.
And do you recall that Dr. Anderson said she believed that Amber Heard was a victim of domestic abuse at the hands of Mr. Depp?
I recall, no, I don't recall that statement.
All right, let's go to Bonnie Jacobs.
Dude, that would
Said
be
that
so
you
awesome.
reviewed the notes from Bonnie Jacobs.
Free last, free last, freedom.
Yes,
Oh, where
What
did
you
the window go?
testified to was that you
I actually
discounted
just
these
found
because
Sound
first-
bite for that.
Oh, do you?
Do what?
I found a sound bite for Uwu.
Ooh.
Let's hear it.
notes from Bonnie Jacobs indicated that
Every time she
already
asks a
had
question.
all of these symptoms, correct?
just, I'm sorry, I don't
We're gonna
understand what you're saying. I
her?
discounted.
Tell
Yeah.
me why you discounted Bonnie
Ooh.
Jacobs.
I did not discount Bonnie Jacobs' notes.
You said that Bonnie Jacobs in her notes had already determined that these symptoms were present for Amber Heard before the relationship with Mr. Depp, did you not?
What I recall saying was that within Dr. Jacobs's notes, she's documented instances in which Ms. Heard reported to her over the course of therapy that she was experiencing nightmares, recurrent nightmares, in fact, about childhood abuse.
Okay. Now, the very first entry on Bonnie Jacobs' notes, and these are the notes, right? Do you recognize these?
I do, and we
Okay.
received more sort of at the tail end just a couple months ago.
All right. So the first of Bonnie Jacobs' notes is on 10/17/2011. Do you recall that?
I don't recall the exact date. I don't have anything in front of me.
And Amber Heard was already in the relationship with Johnny Depp at this point, was she not?
I believe she was, yes.
Okay. And in Bonnie Jacobs' notes, she documents
However, oh, go ahead.
multiple occasions that Amber Heard reports to her physical violence upon her by Mr. Depp, does she not?
There are several notes that indicate that Ms. Heard has reported violence by Mr. Depp, yes.
Many, correct?
I wouldn't qualify it as many. I'm not sure what you mean by
How
many.
many would you say?
I don't know. I don't have the notes in front of me.
Okay, well, what do you recall in deciding to make your opinions in this case?
Well, I'm confused about the dates because I know that Dr. Jacobs treated Ms. Heard even while she was in her prior relationship, leaving her prior relationship with her last wife.
Dr. Curry, I'm not going to ask you to try to bring strange things. I'm asking you what you recall of these
But the
notes.
dates would have been
Oh
different
my.
based on that alone.
Oh, yeah.
And I recall that there was quite a bit.
Because they're just like, what? Wait, we weren't trying to
Mhm.
get that in. But Elaine opened up the door for it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure of the dates because, of her prior wife and the domestic, abuse that happened there.
Yeah.
Now that cat's out of the bag.
Bit of information because these were copious notes spanning back in time from her relationship with
So
Tasha.
Dr. Curry, please answer my question. How many occasions do you recall Dr. Jacobs documenting Amber reporting physical abuse?
I don't know.
And see, there's a big difference between them documenting it and the doctor documenting it from his observation, or somebody else documenting it from their observation. It's like
Yeah.
I'm constantly abused by Jessica. Just saying that does not mean that she does, although she wants to, but it doesn't mean that she does because there's no proof behind it. It's just me saying that Jessica does all these horrible things to me constantly. It has no relevance in this situation. So there's nothing that those documents mean because she can report anything she wants to. She can report that she can fly like an eagle and sting like a bee. All kinds of crap. Doesn't mean it's true. Although we'd like to see.
Now, you also said that you listened to audio tapes in this case, correct?
Yes.
Did you hear Mr. Depp admitting to headbutting Ms. Heard?
That is not what I heard.
You didn't hear that?
I heard a conversation about headbutting. I did not hear him, as you said, admit to headbutting Miss Heard.
Okay, that's your characterization of it, correct?
Yes,
Okay. Did you see the videotape of Mr. Depp?
He's just
Okay, did Ms. Heard imagine that or create that, or was she responsible for that somehow?
Yes.
I'll sustain the objection.
Okay. What, if any, impact did that have on your opinions watching Mr. Depp in that video?
I'm not sure. It was one of many pieces of the exhibits and other collateral data that I considered. I'm not sure what the direct impact was or if that could be measured.
All right. Now, counsel asked you whether you had conducted any type of examination on Mr. Depp, and I believe your answer was no, correct?
No,
You did not review any medical records or psychological records from Mr. Depp either, did you?
Why would
I
you do
reviewed all of the
that?
records.
I
that were
already
available.
found
Do you recall
And
reviewing
and put it
medical
on
and
the
psychological
soundboard already.
records on Mr.
I-
Depp?
Yes,
Do you recall Dr. Blaustein referring to Mr. Depp having
Don't you
rage?
have one
no,
of him
I actually recall him.
of T-Rex
I
singing the song?
do. I do.
Yeah, I vaguely remember this from the other night.
put that on the soundboard.
I'm referring
It
to
is.
Miss Heard.
I did.
No,
I
Your
did.
testimony is that Dr. Blaustein was referring to Amber Heard as having rage.
I transcribed several of the notes, and I may be missing a time when I said that about Mr. Depp. The handwriting was very difficult to transcribe, but there was one instance in which I recall transcribing him stating that Mr. Depp reported that Ms. Heard had rage.
Dr. Blaustein's deposition was taken, was it not?
I don't recall.
Do you recall, so I take it then you don't recall him testifying that Mr. Depp told him he had rage and demons?
I don't recall.
Do you recall Dr. Blaustein testifying that Mr. Depp looked at his wife Amber like his mother or his sister that he didn't like?
I haven't seen his deposition. I don't
That's
recall
how that works, T-Rex.
Now, did you see and do you know?
I'll
whether
send
Mr.
you a
Depp has
link,
ever been diagnosed with
But
any
if you're
personality
driving,
disorders?
stay muted.
It's not relevant to my task to conduct an evaluation of Ms. Heard. So
would would
I
it be-
do not know that he has had one. It was not in the records that he did.
All right, so one way or the other, you don't know whether Mr. Depp suffers from any personality disorders.
That's not my task.
Okay. Let me go to IPV perpetrators. Would you agree that accusations of infidelity can be considered one of the characteristics of a personality perpetrator of IPV?
It can be a characteristic of a lot of things. It is something that can be weaponized if somebody is trying to or is having rage toward their partner.
Let's go to page 270.
Could be classified as somebody cheating on their partner
Yeah, maybe.
that was caught on video.
Line 3, my question was, are accusations of infidelity considered one of the characteristics of a perpetrator, a personality perpetrator of IPV?
That's a lot of P's.
The question is vague and ultimately ambiguous.
I don't understand the objection.
I'll overrule the objection.
And your answer under
Of
oath-
It
course she
means you're
doesn't understand
stupid,
it.
Page
Elaine.
270, line 3 was where my question was,
Okay.
and your answer is at line 8.
What
You
does
said-
she understand?
Yes.
Okay. And interrogating your partner about unfounded accusations of infidelity can be abusive. Would you agree?
It can be if they're unfounded. Yes.
Okay. And psychological consequences for a victim of IPV can include diminished self-esteem, correct?
Yes.
Depressed mood,
Yes.
anxiety,
Yes.
fearfulness,
I
Certainly.
doubt Amber has any of that.
agency,
Yes.
feeling powerless,
Yes.
loss of
But
sleep.
okay.
Yes.
And IPV is a
Lame,
traumatic stressor.
yeah.
Do you agree?
It is.
Right. And IPV is capable of resulting in PTSD, is it not?
It is.
Okay. And IPV is capable of resulting in other trauma-based disorders, correct?
Yes.
Now,
What are you drawing?
Amber's medical examination, she was cooperative, correct?
Her psychological. Yes. She was cooperative and polite.
And in the two
You
full days
drawing
of
yourself
examination, you
behind
felt
her?
She was polite and answered all your questions.
You'll
except
see.
In one instance where she furrowed her brow when you were asking about friendships in high school, correct?
That's not correct.
All right, let's
This
go
is
to
Winnie
page
the Pooh
275.
sticking his hand in the honey jar.
No, you'll see. Just watch.
So we start on
what she
274
said.
with the, was she polite? You said yes. Was she cooperative? Yes. Did she answer your questions? For the most part, yes. This is, now we're on page 275, lines 4 and 5. And then my question was, did she at any time become combative or unfriendly with you or angry? And your answer was,
Oh,
"One
okay.
instance in which she appeared annoyed,
I get it
pushing
now.
forward,
Yeah.
more assertive tone,
It all makes sense.
and I was questioning her being following up on data and had been inconsistent about friendship in high school. Other than that, she was very polite. Is that your answer at that time?
That was my answer at that time, and it's inconsistent with the question you had just asked me.
And would you agree that appearing for
You're
this
correct,
examination
T-Rex.
with an expert who had been retained by Mr. Depp more than a year earlier might be a little stressful?
Yes,
And in fact, not only had you been retained by Mr. Depp, but what had been communicated by Mr. Depp's team was that you had called Amber Heard a liar and a perpetrator of abuse, correct?
first of all, I'd like to clarify that I was not retained by Mr. Depp. I was retained by Mr. Depp's counsel. And what I can say that, yes, any examinee in a forensic context, you would consider that they're probably stressed.
All right, would you agree that all perpetrators of IPV have anger management issues?
Yes,
And a large portion of IPV perpetrators have substance abuse issues.
it's one of many factors that correlates with intimate partner violence, but there are certainly many people who perpetuate intimate
Oh,
partner
dear.
violence who do not have substance abuse
All
issues.
right, let's go to 131, line 17.
One 131, you said?
Yes, line 12 is what I have here. And I'm talking about, you said, and just to give
Can of
context,
Bud Light.
Remember, I was asking you what percentage of people you treat that are perpetrators, and you'd said 5%. Do you recall that, just for substance?
I
Oh,
see
Bud
that here.
Light.
Okay,
Ugh.
and then I said, of the
I gagged
5%
just
that
thinking
are
about
IPV
it.
perpetrators that you've
The
treated in the
gayest
last
beer
8
I've
years,
ever
how
drank.
many of these perpetrators have
She'd look
substance
better
abuse
if she was
issues?
wearing
And
like
your answer
red.
was-
I see that I answered with a figure of speech, a large portion.
Okay, thank you. And it's common for the perpetrator to essentially gaslight the victim, accuse them of being the perpetrator.
Are
Would you
you
agree?
in a different area, or are you asking me a
I'm
separate
asking you a
question?
question.
Oh,
And it's
sorry,
common.
can you please repeat it?
Yes, and it's common for the perpetrator to essentially gaslight the victim, accuse them of being the perpetrator. Would you agree? That's exactly how it was asked in the deposition. so I'm
I
trying to be
understand. It is a compound question. I'll
Okay.
sustain the objection.
And it's common for the perpetrator to essentially gaslight. I don't think that's, Your Honor, I think it's just one question. Let me try it. To gaslight the victim, isn't it?
That's a characteristic of psychological abuse, yes.
Okay, and it's common then for them to accuse. them of
Listening
being-
to Elaine talk is
That's
psychological
a
abuse.
characteristic of abuse from women perpetrated against men. It's actually very, very common. About 90% of male victims of IPV have reported that a female partner who
I need a
abuses them
fucking snack. I'll be
makes threats to report their partner as an abuser. It's less common for men to make that statement to female partners just because there's less potential consequence.
Isn't it true, though, that some form of gaslighting is often present in these personality-based IPV scenarios?
Yes,
Okay. And it's distressing for the victim to be accused, is it not?
absolutely,
It causes them a lot of fear,
certainly,
and it causes them a lot of distress.
absolutely, yes,
And in fact, they feel falsely accused, correct?
yes,
And they feel paranoid,
yes,
and they feel frightened,
yes,
afraid that everyone's going to believe the perpetrator, correct?
yes.
And in fact, they're afraid they're going to lose their security, correct?
Can you clarify what you mean by
You
security?
mean
I'll ask the next one.
sugar
They're afraid
daddy?
they're going to lose their reputation,
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Oh, I
Now,
didn't
let's
get the
talk about
muffin until
testing for a moment. You talked
I
about
get
the
it now.
MMPI-2, but that's not the most recent MMPI, is it?
No, it's the most researched.
Okay. Now, you need to have an elevated, on the MMPI, there was only one section that had elevated scores, correct?
No, that's not correct.
It was the K section, correct?
That's not correct.
Okay. And was there any elevated score over 65 on the MMPI?
I would need to take a look at it. If, I provided a 25-page interpretation outline. If you're able to pull that up, I'd be happy to go over any of the individual scores for you.
Can you recall any clinical scales for the MMPI-2 for Amber Heard that were above 65 as you sit there today?
Again, there are multiple scales on this test, 25 pages worth listed.
What?
So if you can pull it up, then I can review and give you a
Oh.
competent answer.
What can you recall
I
as
was
you
like,
sit
what
there?
are you doing?
I'm
putting
hesitant
handles
to
on
do
it.
that because I
I
don't want to
get
make
it
an
now.
error by ignoring hundreds of scale scores.
And would you agree that you can't make a pathological determination or diagnosis if the scales are not elevated on the MMPI-2?
I would not agree with that.
Now, one of the answers that Amber gave is that it's hard for her to feel safe, correct?
What are you talking about, the MMPI-2?
Yes.
Again, I don't recall. There are 567 items on that. I would need to see her results.
Well, it's a common trauma symptom, isn't it, to not feel safe?
Sure.
And safety concerns are common among women who have been victimized, correct?
Women and men, yes.
Okay, and common especially for sexually victimized people. Would you agree?
Any type of victimization, yes.
Okay, and hard to trust. That's a common after effect of interpersonal violence related trauma, correct?
Sure.
And memory difficulties.
Are those
Amber said
muffins or
she felt
donuts?
She had holes. Do you
Muffins.
recall that?
I do. And
And-
her account was different than typical memory difficulties with trauma.
It is common for individuals who have experienced trauma.
And it's actually
to
not
have-
common. No, it's a symptom, but it's the least common.
In fact, a DSM-5 diagnosis. of
Angel muffins,
PTSD
right.
Includes a quote, inability to
Mhm.
remember an important aspect of the traumatic event, end of
Mhm.
quote. Am I correct?
Yes.
And memory difficulties are a symptom of PTSD, correct?
Certain types of memory difficulties, yes.
Okay.
Is that what my problem is?
Now, do you recall when Amber says the first
Might be.
incident of abuse took place?
I believe it was, the first incident in which yes. So she stated that it was early on in their relationship.
Do you recall it?
I don't recall the exact date off the top of my head.
Do you recall it being a tattoo, something related to a tattoo?
I do.
Okay. Now, if someone had been subjected to a 4-year relationship characterized by repeated IPV, they can have symptoms, correct?
Yes.
Intense anxiety,
Yes, certainly.
depressed or irritable states,
Actually, it's not so much states. When you're looking at a real trauma reaction, it's pretty
Does that include
persistent and
irritable
less of these
bowel?
transient states.
intimate
Could be.
problems,
Yes.
relationship
Angel
difficulties.
muffins.
Yes.
And these are symptoms you're also attributing to the personality disorder, correct?
Yes, there are some key differences.
Now, let's talk for a moment specifically about a couple of the profiles on the MMPI. This is not an exaggerated profile for her, is it?
No, actually, that was something unique. When she completed objective broadband measures, where the questions, you don't know what the questions are getting at, they seem completely random. She raised scores that indicated that she was trying to minimize any mental issues and appear completely free of pathology. When she took tests that asked questions that were specific to trauma, that's when you'd see these extreme exaggerations.
All right, let's go to page 337.
You mean she was faking it?
Usually, that's what it means. I think I can do it better Halo than that.
My question on line 7, this is not an exaggerated profile, is it for her? And your answer under oath at that time was no, it is not an exaggerated profile. Do you see that?
Yes, we're
That's what
talking
you
about the
testified-
MMPI here.
You
Yes,
testified under oath at that time, correct?
yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
Now, the profile is also not consistent with malingering, correct?
The MMPI-2 profile, it's specific to how she approached this test. And you're correct. For this test, it was a defensive profile, not an exaggerated profile.
So my question on line 10 was, this is not a profile consistent with malingering, correct? And your answer under oath at that time was correct. On this test, it is not consistent with malingering, period, right?
Yes.
That was your full answer. Okay. Now, is it your testimony under oath today that you have not been asked to testify concerning Ms. Heard's behavior in the context of her relationship with Mr. Depp, including any abuse?
That's correct.
Okay. And you have not made any determinations, including any of opinions that Ms. Heard abused Mr. Depp or Mr. Depp abused Ms. Heard, correct?
Correct. That's outside of the scope of psychology.
Okay. And you cannot testify whether Amber Heard suffered any emotional distress as a result of any of the defamatory comments that she has alleged Mr. Waldman made through Mr. Depp made through Mr. Waldman, correct?
What I can testify is that there was no indication of a decline in psychological functioning showing any injury since she's been with Mr. Depp.
You cannot testify one way or the other on that, correct? Your Honor, may we approach?
Okay.
I remember this is where she screwed up,
Who did?
Elaine, because she asked a question. She was like, "Oh, it's a question you asked." If I remember from the sidebar thing.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
asked
there
a
was
question.
something like that.
It's like, I mean, at least
Yeah,
she didn't object to herself like Rottenborn did. But
yeah, that was
still, you're just like, what are you doing? It just seems so ridiculous. But
yeah, it does. I wonder if Angel Muffin is a fan of cream pies.
Dr. Curry,
Yes.
in your report, nowhere in your report did you provide any opinion of whether Ms. Heard suffered emotional distress as a result of the defamatory statements. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
All right, redirect.
Dr. Kerr, you were just asked a question about malingering
Yes.
and made reference to the MMPI-2. Is there another test that you did to make a determination with respect to malingering?
dude in the back
Yes,
with
so
sunglasses
I
on, shaved
also-
head,
Well,
kind of looks like
malingering is a
Lawrence
term that,
Fishburne.
most psychologists, we try to be careful of it because it indicates an intent for secondary gain. I prefer feigning, which you had brought up earlier, because it indicates that somebody is intentionally exaggerating, but I don't know necessarily why. So I think that's a more accurate term in general. On the MMPI-2, yes, there was no exaggerated profile. I also gave her the CAPS-5. I don't know if you'll remember, but that is the clinician-administered PTSD scale consistent with the DSM-5. And on that, there were signs of gross exaggeration. I also looked at the test results that were
This is
provided
where
by
they
Dr.
hammer it.
Hughes. And
Oh
on
my.
an objective test of trauma,
Mhm.
there is a scale specific to intentional exaggeration. On that test, and Ms. Heard was in the 98th percentile, meaning that she is she had engaged in extreme levels of exaggeration.
Thank you. You were asked about intimacy problems, relationship difficulties associated with IPV, and you then said there were some key differences.
Yes.
What are those?
So what you see when we're talking about the personality disorders is there is a very consistent pattern of the aggression, the violence, the irritability. First of all, it's escalated. But second of all, it occurs when there is either, for the borderline component, a threat of abandonment, a perceived slight, feeling like the person is about to leave you, about to walk away to get some space from an argument. It also occurs to a more mild extent, but when there's a loss of attention and a need to manipulate to try to get that attention back. But it's not, when somebody has PTSD, that irritability is sort of at a low constant level, or it's completely random. For instance, you might have a Vietnam vet who went straight to bars for a period to get into fights with the hope that he would kill somebody and just self-destruct. So it's a very different type of presentation. IPV, it might be more irritability, but that's actually
That
a
escalated
symptom
quickly.
for female IPV victims. Usually what
Yeah.
you see is somatic symptoms, the
Yeah,
depression,
it's,
a lot of fearfulness and anxiety, but typically more
is-
complaints about somatic symptoms.
This is very important what she's saying,
You
though.
testified that
Yeah.
some of the professionals involved in this case had to take their patient at her word. What did you mean by that?
So when you're providing therapy, you're in a very different role than an examiner. When you're the forensic examiner, you're just
This
really
is
looking
important.
at data to make a decision. When you're a therapist, you're an advocate for your client's well-being. And in fact, it's considered extremely unethical for a treating provider to ever provide opinion testimony like I'm providing, because it's so well known in our field that you're going to have an automatic bias for your client. It's almost a sense of protection, advocacy, wanting their best, which is why we also know that it's very inappropriate to convey any sort of opinion about whether a crime occurred, whether abuse occurred. We can certainly believe our clients. We can support them in their therapy and take them at their word. But when giving opinions and consultations, we have to be very, very cautious and really only provide the facts. We would state things in terms of, my client did report this. I saw this. Here was our treatment plan. Here was the diagnosis. It's we're trained to stay away from making any sort of opinions, understanding that most of the time, and most of Ms. Heard's providers were just treating Ms. Heard. They had never so much as done an initial interview with Mr. Depp and gotten his whole life story or his symptoms, or his side of any of it. And they're going to be advocating, and the treatment relationship is about helping your client achieve well-being, not making formal psychological or psychiatric opinions.
So you're asked a question about a series of doctors. Dr. Cohen, treating physician?
Yes, he was a psychologist.
Yeah. Dr. Banks, treating physician?
Dr. Banks, yes, treating psychiatrist.
Dr. Anderson,
Yes, treating psychologist.
Is that the
Everyone-
licky guy?
Yeah. So here's the here's the thing that I'm getting out of this that this attorney is doing. I forget what his name is. He's making a very good point right here. This doctor, 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 this doctor. It's like he just keeps listing off all these doctors that have been treating her.
Yeah.
And how many doctors have been treating Depp, Johnny?
His main physician.
Kipper, and then he had nurses that would handle the medications, but they were still reporting to him. And I think there was maybe another doctor, and then there was a couple psychologists or couples therapists, that kind of stuff. Seems like Amber goes through a lot of doctors.
Well, you have to do a little shopping around and get what you need. You know what I mean?
Yes, you do.
One of them had to take Amber Heard at his word, right?
Yes.
She brought it up.
Thank you. No further questions.
All right. Is this witness subject? Yes, sir. Is this witness subject to recall? All right. Since you're subject to recall, Dr. Curry, please do not discuss your testimony with anybody, and please do not watch anything of this trial. Okay. All right.
Got
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
You can stay there for a moment.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and take our afternoon recess for 15 minutes. Do not do any outside research and don't talk to anybody.
Oh yeah, Dr. Muffins.
It takes a couple more days to get to the crazy licky guy, right? Because that's
Yeah, that's not today.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's not today. That's
Yeah.
whenever he's on cross.
yeah, because that was the defense case, if I remember.
Yes, that was defense.
Because you have to go through the other lady that they call who is clearly biased.
Right. The plaintiff is not completed yet.
Witness?
Yeah.
We call Officer Melissa Signs by deposition designation.
All right.
And just so the jury is aware.
So glad they sued her Amber on this.
Questioning by Ms. Heard's counsel. It will then shift to questioning by Mr. Depp's counsel.
All right. Thank you.
Please state your name and your
I didn't see
business
that guy
address.
every day. The dude who was just talking.
Officer
Oh, did you?
Signs,
Yeah, I don't recall seeing that guy every day.
West Martin Luther
Yeah, he
King
was there.
Jr. Boulevard, Los
Every
Angeles,
day?
California. And
Yeah.
what's your occupation? I am a
Because usually
professor.
the lady with the curly hair would sit there.
Well, they're rotating people in and out because they're handling different parts of the case. He's handling this particular person right here. More than likely, he questioned this person.
Yeah.
And so he's handling just this portion of it, like
Yeah.
in that role. So
Yes.
that's why he's there. So yeah, he had more than just those four people. There were quite a few attorneys.
Dr. Schmiegel, yeah, that guy.
And how long have you been a police
Yeah.
officer?
Dr. Schmiegel.
Going on 12 years. What year did you begin as a police officer? 2009. And was that with the LAPD? Yes, it was.
So like a year.
Did you have any law enforcement experience prior to coming to the LAPD in July 2009? No, I did not. As of May 21, 2016, what was your rank? Can you repeat the date? May 21st, 2016. I was a training officer. And was that a P3? Correct. And as a training officer, were you considered a field training officer? Correct. And for how long a period of time had you been a training officer as of May 21, 2016? Approximately, I believe, 4 months.
This is a she, not a he.
Who was the first officer you trained once you became a training officer at the LAPD? I don't recall. When did you start training Officer Heard?
KLI.
I don't recall the exact month. Do you have an
Kayla, shame on you. There is nobody here that is ever been gay.
Why are you gay?
approximate? If the incident was in May, then it's going to be
Oh
within
dear.
2 months of May, before or after. So are you suggesting that you may not have started training Officer Haddon until 2 months after the May 21, 2016 incident, so he wasn't there?
No, I'm not.
Was it 2 months or less from the time you started training Officer Haddon before the May 21, 2016 incident?
Yeah, so I have a probationer for 2 months. So May could have been the second month I had him or the first month I had him.
But you don't recall, as you said here today, how long you been training Officer Haddon as of the May 21st, 2016 incident? What does Central Division include?
I love it.
Downtown Los Angeles.
In May of 2016, what shift were you on?
I was working nights.
And what would the night shift entail? What was the time from when to when?
Jesus Christ, Elaine, ask
It
a
is
real
approximately
question.
6:45 p.m. to 6:45
What is the
a.m.
meaning of life?
And how many days a week would you work?
49.
42.
Usually 3 days a week.
Typically, what was the range of the number of units that were working on your shift in May 2016 in Central Division?
I don't recall.
I mean, are we talking less than 5, more than 10, more than 25?
There would be at least 5 units. How high over that, I wouldn't know that. Every night is different. The city pulls from different divisions if there's special events going on. So it's constantly changing.
Okay.
Constantly
But
changing their
it's
5
usually
units,
at
huh?
least 5 and maybe somewhere between 5
Yep.
and 10 if there's not something that would be a fair estimate.
There was another
Correct.
police officer that did that over in this
What
neck
was
of the
the
woods.
process for checking out
Yep.
She
equipment
works for
in
Amtrak
May
now.
2016 after roll
She
call?
likes trains.
Yeah.
Did you
I
see
heard
the
about
tweet
her.
Good Logic made about her?
In the morning.
Yes, I
No.
did.
That was great.
Yep. She took the train out of town.
Which one?
He shared a picture. So someone posted a picture of her and it says, I wonder where she is now. He quote tweeted it and he's like, no idea where she is right now, but wherever that is, I'm pretty sure she got there by train.
No shit. I'm not joking. She works for Amtrak. She works for Amtrak now. Like, I'm not actually joking.
That's great.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah. From one train to the next.
It was 42, damn it. I know, I was being facetious. Being difficult. The meaning of life is to not die.
Name and serial
Okay.
number, and it would present us with equipment for the shift.
And what equipment were you given in May 2016 after roll call?
I don't recall.
You don't recall any of the equipment you checked out in May of 2016 after roll call?
No.
I don't remember that specific day that I checked out equipment. I can tell you what I typically check out. If that's
I don't
okay.
remember what the fuck I did yesterday, Elaine.
I usually check.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is Elaine is Jesus Christ.
She's highly regarded.
Yeah, highly retarded. I agree.
No, that's why I said regarded, so YouTube doesn't smack us for that.
Oh, that's what I said. Regarded, didn't I?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I
I
heard.
mean, my mic. Sometimes my mic doesn't work. Damn it.
You should get a pop filter for that just to make sure it doesn't.
I
pick
should
up.
get a pop filter for that. It makes it sound like my letters just don't come out right. No.
That's what she said.
So Elaine, Elaine, she could get to the questions, to the meat of the questions by asking pretty standard questions of were you working this day? Were you wearing this gear? What time is your shift? And then get there and to the point of, okay, so on this date, did you go to this address? You went to this address. What was the call about? You know what, because they already know what they're there for to testify about. And get to the goddamn questions. Whenever they get there, then they, like 10 minutes and she can get everything she needs to know out of this person, but she just wastes so much damn time asking stupid questions.
But the problem is, she doesn't know how to get to the meat.
That's true. That's true. Well, Elaine, your cats appreciate you. Your cats appreciate you. Yes.
check out a police vehicle, a taser, a less lethal beanbag shotgun,
Hey, Rabbit.
and a
Good to
regular
see
shotgun.
you.
A rabbit.
Anything else?
No, nothing else.
Do you check out body worn video equipment?
Yes, if you were trained in body worn video, then yes, you would check that out.
All right. Were you trained in body worn video equipment?
I was not.
Have you ever been assigned body worn video equipment?
Yes, I have.
That's what she just said.
I don't remember the specific date.
What is your best estimate?
Just ask her if she was wearing it.
If I had to guess, it would probably be June of 2016.
Why do you think it was June of 2016 that you first were assigned body
Why
worn
does it
video?
matter?
Yeah.
Because that's the time frame that I remember having to use it. It was new to me. I'd never used body worn before.
When did the LAPD start issuing body worn equipment for Central Division?
I don't know that
Body
date.
worn equipment.
When approximately?
I don't know. I couldn't give you a date.
Well, those
Can
free
you
bastards
name
run
any
away
other
when they
officer
can.
that did not have body worn
Lane's
equipment that
cat.
was on your shift at any time between November 2015 and June 2016?
When did they
Other
start
than-
issuing you body worn equipment?
Have
Yes.
you had more than one body worn video equipment?
Oh, Lane just farted.
Body worn camera, is that what you're asking?
Yes.
I have had two. One in Central Division, and now a new one at Southwest Division where I currently am. The camera stays at their respective divisions.
While you were at Central Division, did you ever get assigned more than
Oh,
one
rabbit.
body worn video camera?
Not to my knowledge.
So to the best of your knowledge, you had the same body worn video camera.
Jesus, she just
all the
answered
time
that
you were at
question.
Central Division, is that
Oh my
correct?
god.
Correct.
Do you have a recollection of at any time while you were at Central Division, your body worn video camera not working so you couldn't turn it on during an incident?
I do not recall that.
What tools were available to you in May of 2016 for investigating calls, answering an investigation?
What tools were there?
Can you specify what you mean by
Magnifying
tools?
glasses,
Lane wants to know
Well,
about tools.
Did you have a notebook, for
gloves,
example?
fingerprint
Yes, we carry
duster.
full officers' notebooks.
Um,
And did you have your own field officer notebook?
Yes.
black
Can you
light.
describe what your field
Yeah.
officer notebook looked like in May of 2016?
It's a small, just paper pad that we keep in our pockets to write on.
And do you carry a pencil or a pen with it so that you can take them out during a call and take notes?
I do.
What do you do with your notebooks once you have filled them?
You can
Toilet
take them into the
paper.
kit room and they can store them.
Is that what you have done?
I have my same officer's field officer's notebook in my locker.
Since you started?
No, I've had several different ones, but I usually keep them in my locker.
So for the field officer's notebook that you had in May of 2016, that would be in your locker?
It should be, yes.
How many field officer notebooks have you filled since you've been a police officer?
Not many, probably less than 5.
And do you recall how
Lane's
many-
had more
roughly
cats than
how
she's
many
had field
pages
books.
Are in each field officer notebook?
No, I don't recall.
Did you have access to DART?
I don't recall what hours they worked at Central Division.
And what did DART stand for?
I don't know the specific acronym, but I know it's the domestic violence card.
Did you also have access to types of reports, incident reports, various forms, diagrams, things of that nature in case you needed them?
Yes, I did.
And where were those kept while you were on a shift? I'm talking about May 2016.
I usually keep extra spare reports in my bag, and I also keep them in my vest.
So when you answered calls in May of 2016, you had reports material in your vest as you answered calls? Is that correct?
Yes.
It's a deposition exhibit number 14. It's a multiple page document. I'm just asking her if she recognizes this document.
Yes, I do.
Okay. When is the last time you reviewed this document?
About a week ago.
All right. And what were the circumstances under which you reviewed this document a week ago?
For this testimony.
Now, I asked you some questions about the body worn video. Are you aware of anyone, any other officer being assigned your body worn video under your serial number?
I'm not aware.
Is there any chance that you could be mistaken about when you were assigned body worn video?
No, there's not.
And why do you say that?
I already answered this question.
Because everything is recorded and documented on evidence.com under my serial number. So if a
Evidence.com.
supervisor wanted to
It's your serial number.
enter the database under my serial number, they could watch my videos and see the specific date and time my videos started to record and when the date of my last video was to this date.
All right. And did you go back and look to see what date you started?
I did.
What was the date that you were assigned body worn video equipment in Central Division?
Probably before you became an
The day
attorney.
that I took out body worn video was June 16th of 2016.
I'm going to show you this second page of what has been marked as deposition exhibit number 1. It has you summoned to attend and give testimony at a deposition and also to produce certain documents. Do you recall this being issued?
Yes, I do.
And here we go. The documents to be produced. The first of those was all video footage recorded by you relating to any incident at 849 South Broadway, Los Angeles, California, 90014. On May
Please
20th,
do.
2016, including all
Please
video
bring in those
footage relating to incident number, and it has the number on May 21, 2016. Did you conduct any type of search or any kind of effort to see if you had any video footage on May 21, 2016 related to this incident?
The answer is no.
I'm going to ask you, did anyone at the LAPD, at any point, supervisors, watch commanders, anyone connected with the LAPD, ever ask you whether you had any video footage from the incident of May 21, 2016?
No.
I'm going to ask you to take a look at number 2 here. It says all documents and or communications, including without limitation any notes,
Here comes the
memoranda,
hair sniffer.
quotes, filings, and
Word it up.
summaries relating to any incident at 849 South Broadway, Los Angeles, California, 90014 on May 21, 2016. Are you aware of any documents or communications that would fit this description?
No.
Now, Officer Sines, you've had training on domestic violence, correct?
Correct.
Could you tell me what that consists of?
We received training in the police academy.
Anywhere else? Did you have any other type of domestic violence training other than when you were in the police academy?
Other than my experience in the field dealing with domestic violence, no, not that I can recall.
And as of May of 2016, would you agree that you had answered over 100 domestic violence calls?
I go to a lot of domestic violence calls every day.
And you consider yourself to be a specialist in domestic violence, is that accurate?
I don't understand the title specialist. I don't consider myself a specialist.
In May of 2016,
Do you specialize in
what were
domestic
police
violence?
officers supposed to do when the victim of a domestic violence would not respond to questions or cooperate with pursuing charges after a call was placed and the police officers had arrived?
If an individual is uncooperative, we are to check the location to make sure that the suspect is in hiding for the safety of the potential victim and offer a business card if they decide to speak to us later.
In May of 2016, was it your understanding that if you saw evidence of injury or property damage in disarray, that you were to file a report even if the victim was not cooperating?
The heck?
Correct.
Lefty put a
Let me show you what is remarked as exhibit number 8.
eggplant in the chat, and YouTube held it back. I had to approve it.
And Were you the one who approved it? Because when I clicked on show, it said that somebody else had handled it.
Yeah, I approved it.
You handled the eggplant.
I did. I handled the eggplant with my bare hands.
Was this a document that you recall receiving at some point?
Yes.
Okay. And do you
Oh,
understand, do you
dear.
have an understanding of why this was supplemented on November 24,
Oh,
2014?
I do
I
not.
don't know which one.
You
of
know
these
what,
is
KLI? No, absolutely not. I'm putting you on another timeout for a minute.
Oh, I see what the message is. Dude, you should know better.
Oh, yeah, you should know better. I thought you learned.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jeez.
Young is
Now
here.
he's back to being a pleb. He was on my good list, but now he's a pleb again.
Hi, young.
I thought you
Yum.
understood the assignment, KLI. What the hell?
Jeez.
Apparently not.
You didn't learn, did you? Didn't learn. Shame for shame.
And it's called
You'll
Las
learn
Vegas Police
eventually.
Department Domestic Violence Supplemental Report. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
Okay. And what is your understanding of what this document is?
It's a supplemental document that we add to a police report for domestic violence.
Okay. And is this one of the reports that you would carry in your vest when you answered calls?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you to take a look, if you can, at the very left-hand column, where it has a number of different categories here, and it has victim shaking, unresponsive, crying, scared, angry, fearful, and of why these are included
Giggity.
on the supplemental domestic violence report.
These are
To
questions
identify
you
somebody's
asked.
emotional state during an investigation.
And this is specifically with respect to domestic violence, correct?
Correct.
Jesus.
Okay, and then if you can turn over to the crime scene section on the right-hand side, you'll notice that there are some categories that include location vandalized / ransacked, personal property damage,
Oh,
furniture
good lord, that
disarrayed,
video is that
broken.
long.
What is your understanding of
Yeah, and the
why
video is
those
like
categories are
less
included in
than
there
30
for
seconds long. It takes longer to
making notations for
about all this
domestic
shit
violence
than it
supplemental
does to even
report?
just show the video.
To identify the crime scene at the time of the incident.
Okay. And was it your understanding
Wow.
that these items that they have on here may be significant
See,
in
Lynn
assisting
keeps
in
farting.
determining whether there was in fact domestic violence and improving the case?
Correct.
And I direct your attention specifically to the evidence section. And it indicates witnesses present during domestic violence, statements taken, evidence collected, photos taken on there. What is your understanding of the significance of this, collecting this information?
It's significant to tell a story about what happened at the domestic violence incident.
Okay. And then if we can scroll down a little bit further to additional questions, there's a series of those, including, has suspect threatened to kill you? Did they possess firearms? Have they ever attempted to smother, strangle, or suffocate you? Things of that nature. What is your understanding of why you're supposed to ask those questions?
Because we want to know.
Give you a background on the
Asphyxiation.
relationship and idea of what the
By
victim
peeing.
and the suspect have been through.
Is that an option?
Thank you. Just let me ask you that supplemental report when you responded on May 16, 2020, May 21, 2016 to the Broadway call, correct, with Amber Heard?
Correct. It did not meet criteria.
The question I asked was, did you fill out one of those forms?
And what did you learn,
It did not
KLI?
meet criteria.
I'm going to ask you to take a look at what has been marked as exhibit number 10, and if I can direct your attention to the top.
I think there's two ways you can look at that question, Young.
And it has field note
So-
domestic violence law.
Either, so the question is for us, I guess. Do y'all think Elaine did a good job for her client at least? Like, she gave it a try, right? So I guess the nice answer would be is she did her best. I guess.
She represented her client with vigor.
And she did exactly what her client wanted her to do. So she gave it a try.
Yep.
Yes.
She represented the best interests of her client. It's yeah, that's dude. Did she do a good job for her client? I don't know. There's like Veal said, there's many ways to answer. I think he pretty much summed it up the best way that I could put it. That's my opinion.
Mhm.
So, what about you, Jess? She's like,
No comment.
Who's laughing now?
I don't have anything nice to say about Elaine or how she handled herself.
you can only do so much
I
when
mean,
you're
yeah.
behind this dumpster fire of crap. Yes,
Yes.
they're
Mm.
and that's our point. It's like, did you? I mean, I don't know. Could I have done any better? Probably not. But I'm not an attorney, so.
Hi, Duncan.
Hey, Duncan.
Oh, there you go. That's actually something that you can cover, Jess. So, what is your take on covering bruises?
She didn't cover any bruises. She created bruises with a bruise kit, special effects makeup. Those bruises did not look real.
Nope.
At all.
And I've seen broken noses. That is not what they look like. If you'd like to see a broken nose, watch the UFC sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when somebody breaks your nose and then you try to blow your nose, your whole face swells up. Your eyes get all huge and puffy, and you're like the whole center of your face just swells.
If her nose was actually broken, why was there no x-rays provided of the nose? And why was there no bandaging of the nose?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think the problem with that is to cover a bruise that she would have to have one.
Yeah.
I mean, well, Young is asking if you could show
how
them
we make bruises. There's plenty of stuff online to show how
I
to make
definitely
bruises.
can, just not on this stream.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do like a short video or something to show you guys how to do bruises with the special effects.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
And they look good on camera. You know, like on the big screen because you're catching like little glimpses of it. Whenever they do all the swelling and stuff like that, they just add padding to different parts of the face and then paint over that. And sometimes those pieces are bruised or they might be split and then they attach it on there. Like you've seen, big chunks of people's faces missing and stuff like that. It's
yeah,
it does take a lot. Jess is trained. Yeah, short video. See, Young is like, yeah, short video. That's your next short. There you go. Hooray. One of my toddlers headbutted me in the nose and broke it. Better black guys never had a makeup job. Yes. I've been clocked right here and broke my nose like off to the side. Yeah, it's not a pretty sight.
I've never broken my nose.
Oh, I've had mine broken twice that I know of. I mean, I've been hit a few times in the nose, but you got a nose like this, you tend to get it hit.
Yeah,
it's not like a Nick Rekieta size, but it's not small.
It's working on it.
I can do that someday, Young. No problem.
Mm-hmm. She did not put forth a very coherent defense. Big part of the problem is Amber, but her legal team do just do well. Yeah.
I mean, that came up later, right? He corrected it, said didn't do well. The problem is that she had insurance. The insurance company wanted to pick a specific set of lawyers to defend this, but Amber, in all her wonderful knowledge and experience, decided she was going to hire basically a hit team that was going to do her bidding for her, and they failed, which is why they weren't going to pay the claim. Because the insurance company, if you have insurance, they get to pick who your lawyers are.
If I'm not mistaken, Elaine's been with her since before the divorce. Like for the TRO, that was her attorney.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Like, I don't know the history of the whole thing.
Yeah, Elaine's been with her a long time.
Well, I might explain a few things. And how you missed the end of Dr. Mommy. And then that's really it. This lady's been talking about body worn cameras or something.
Yeah. Yeah. All this has to do with is, we'll just fast forward some of this because this is stupid questioning. We'll let it play through. Just it's stupid question. I'm going to speed it up because it's just dumb. It really is. The
Yeah,
questioning of
it's-
this is.
I just
It's
I just
painful.
added 2 more sound bites for you.
Oh, did you
Uh-oh.
really?
Yep.
Hey, phrasing.
Oh.
Beta.
What do you say? If I could get Young to do that, oh, that would be awesome. That really would. She's got a great voice.
Hey, phrasing.
Sorry, I hit the wrong key.
That's
Oh,
cool. I'm happy too.
What's this say?
Throat is thoroughly lubricated now.
Oh my.
Oh, I didn't know what that was.
Uh-huh. Sure you didn't, Shizzy. Sure you didn't, Shizzy.
It's the frogs that did it to you.
To be fair, it says Shizzy's throat.
Yeah,
I mean,
it does. It is mine.
I guess that's a thing, right?
That was me that said it. Damn it. She clipped it out. Oh, we have Triggered of Oz became the newest member. Awesome.
Thank you, Triggered.
Welcome.
Oh, the Habibi
Mhm.
gang.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Find all my links here. Yes. Find all her links. And become a member also.
Oh, what's this?
Form number 18.30.02. Are you familiar with that?
Oh.
Yes.
That's cool.
It has case preparation. It says, note the complainant's emotional and physical condition. You see that?
Yes, I do.
And then ensure all evidence is gathered and preserved, e.g. bloodied clothing, damaged phones, property. You see that?
Yes, I do.
And it also says ensure photographs are taken of injuries or lack of injury to complainant and accused. And then suggest both a day or two after. What is your understanding of the reasons for collecting this evidence?
Because these are fruits of a crime.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Because these are fruits of a crime. If there's a crime, this is important to prove that a crime was committed.
And what do you mean by fruits?
Mr. Hanky, the Christmas poo.
I would clip that, but we might get copyrighted for it.
Yeah,
They're
that
not
would.
very friendly with South Park clips.
Mr. Hanky, the Christmas poo. He loves me and I love you. Some crap like that. Don't forget your towel. Oh, you know, I ever noticed it's the same voice? Mr. Hanky and Towley have the same voice. Well, howdy-ho. You kids sure do smell nice and flowery like.
Of a crime.
If we're talking domestic violence, the location would be evidence. So if there's, a house is ransacked, and that should be noted in the report, that would be considered evidence.
All right, and then we're going to go to the second page here. And it has ensure photographs are taken of scene and damaged property, e.g. broken furniture, holes in wall, damaged phones, phone card, evidence of alcohol consumption, general disarray. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
And what is your understanding of why that would be important?
Same thing, proof of a crime.
Okay. And then it also says
Ain't
canvas
nobody
location,
gonna
interview all
hold
witnesses,
me
including
down.
children, fresh complaint witnesses, neighbors, and local law enforcement. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
And what would be the reason for canvassing the location and interviewing all witnesses?
That would be further evidence.
Right. And what is your understanding of what fresh complaint means?
I couldn't tell you.
See you.
And then if we go down a little bit further, it also has complainant questions. And it has questions such as length and nature of relationship, but also prior incidents of domestic violence reported.
See, it sounds like Elaine's farting.
And what form of violence or abuse has
Yeah,
you see
that was a weird
And
artifacting.
What is your understanding of why that would be important?
Because it gives us an idea on background.
Doesn't even sound like they're in the same room.
No, they're not.
Which I know they're not, but like.
Well, she's probably wearing her leather belt or probably her vest or something that's creaking whenever she moves. And if she's got a lapel mic on, it would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or she may have gas. Who knows? Amberheard was on the phone with Samantha Spector, her attorney, when police showed up at the apartment. Yes, but Elaine was down there at her office or down there during that TRO, because there's pictures of her with her at the time. Unless
Really?
Samantha Spector looks like Elaine. It's always a possibility. You know, cat ladies tend to all look alike. They have this weird odor about them too.
Page,
Stop
I
triggering.
said crazy cat ladies.
and we have a little bit more here. We have the.
Yep. Sorry about that.
And that says how long the abuse has been occurring.
Ian is a
any logs or
Virginia
diaries,
attorney.
Is there a pattern of alcohol or substance abuse? What is your understanding of why those would be relevant?
Again, because it gives us background on what we're dealing with, what type of relationship this is.
And they help with the proof of the crime?
Correct.
Okay. And then we have identify the person who first saw the complainant after the incident. And it says in parentheses, fresh complaint witness. So I'm kind of guessing that must be the definition. But why would it be important to interview or identify the person who first saw the complainant after the incident?
They probably have the best recollection.
Okay. And also has identified the person with whom the complainant first spoke about the incident. Fresh complaint witness. What is your understanding of why that would be important?
Same thing, the best recollection.
Okay. And then we have what have neighbors seen or heard. Why would that be important?
Because it would prove to us that there was an incident if there was other people with the same story as the victim.
Okay. And then we also have, did witness observe how physical injury occurred? Why would that be important?
Because that would tell us that there was a crime, that somebody got injured.
And then we have statements by the complainant and or accused after the incident. Why would that be important?
Because we're getting our story from the complainant, so what they say is everything with the crime.
All right, let's look at 12 for a moment. This is exhibit number 12. It's Office of the Chief of Police, April 9, 2002. And it's a domestic violence victims memo. And it says, purpose, the department is legislatively mandated to provide specific information to victims of domestic violence crimes. And then they go in to describe that. What is your understanding of, well, let me go a little bit further because I'm going to try to move through this a little bit quicker. So it says, to mitigate this issue, the department has begun to use the Victim Information Notification Every Day, VINE, pamphlet to accomplish not only the domestic violence information requirements under section 13701 of the California.
Oh my
Penal Code,
God,
but also
Elaine.
information regarding the VINE program. Did you have a copy of that pamphlet? Was that something that was given to you?
Yes.
Okay. And was that
No, it's something
that
I
you
printed on the way over.
provided then, as it says, you showed it to victims of domestic violence?
Yes.
What is your understanding of why you were to provide the pamphlet? To the victim? You understand the question?
Yes, because it gives resources to the victim, domestic violence resources, like shelters and phone numbers to provide help.
I'm going to show you what has been marked as exhibit number 11. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, I do. This is the VINE.
Okay, when you say VINE, is this the pamphlet that
Yeah.
would be referred to? Okay. And it's your understanding that you were supposed to be giving that pamphlet to victims of domestic violence on calls? Is that correct?
Correct.
Did you provide a copy of this pamphlet to Amber Heard?
I did not identify her as a victim of domestic violence.
Is that the sole reason why you did not give that to Amber Heard?
Yes, we want to give them to victims of domestic violence.
I'm going to ask you to take a
At this point, Your Honor, Ms. Heard's counsel is asking to move into evidence and publish to the jury Defendant's Exhibit 730, and Mr. Depp has no objection.
7:30 in evidence, and can publish.
No, I'm wrong. She wasn't there.
Oh. What's this? Oh.
Okay, and then we can
Okay.
keep going.
first page of exhibit number 3. It's an incident recall.
Why does the potato
from
case sound familiar?
specifically May 21st, 2016.
Gabby
Do you
Petito.
recognize this document?
Or is that
Yes, I
the
do.
chick whose
Please explain to me. what
boyfriend
it is.
disappeared
This is
her in
her radio
Wyoming?
call
Yep.
Right, and how is this recorded?
by
Yeah.
dispatch,
And then he
And-
took his out.
How is it communicated to you?
a computer in our car.
So
Mm,
I'm going to ask you to take a look at the very beginning of this. It starts out, it obviously has an incident number. Is this your understanding?
I guess it would depend on the
of
state.
Incident recall for the report to 849 South Broadway involving Amber Heard.
Yes.
Because I don't believe every
Starts
state
out
has a
at 5:10,
mandatory
16 at 20,
like,
30, 58,
take someone to
which is
jail law.
30, 58, or almost 831. And it says incident initiated by such and such. You see that?
Yes, I do.
Here, I'll show you something really quick. Just so, you, and it has nothing to do with her, but this right here. So look at this picture right here. Okay.
Mhm.
And then look at the little scar, and I'll point it out so you can sort of see this little mark right here. A little mark where it's at. It's about a little bit off to the left of her eye right there. So that little mark.
Mhm.
And then you come over here to this image, which is supposed to be after. She should have a mark that's somewhere around in here, but the mark is here on the inside of her eye.
You're still sharing the same thing, Shizzy.
Oh, sorry. This one right here. So here's the new mark that she has.
Mm-hmm.
So she couldn't even keep the markings correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they
I
change
mean,
their, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
when I hit my eye on the corner of the bedpost, my bruise looked even better than that.
I bet it did. So if Utah changed their policies based on that incident, then I don't know what their policies were before or what they changed to, but I think there's only so much you can do, right? Because if somebody hasn't committed a crime, then can't really do anything unless it's a state that has a law where somebody has to go to jail in a domestic violence call. But if somebody didn't commit a crime, I mean, I guess they can just ask them questions until something comes out or something. But at some point in time, that becomes harassment too, because it's am I being detained? Am I being arrested? thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks, but
oh, sorry. Or marks loot like a Tetris piece. just get robbed and work on your bedpost.
Oh yeah,
I love you, Brandon.
Dropping the phone on your face will do it too.
Hilarious. I dropped my mobile on my face because I was holding it above my face. It was worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
My cousin dropped a pair of needle nose pliers in his eye. Yeah,
that felt good.
Yeah, especially whenever he found out that it detached all but what was it, a quarter of his retina.
Oh no.
It was on the, let's see, it was on his right eye. It was on the outside of his right eye, and they were embedded into his eye. He was stationed in Germany at the time. He was home on leave working on his truck. He never went back. I mean, he went back to Germany so they could do surgery on it, but yeah, he never got the eyesight back on that eye. It was always funny because he would have to look at you whenever he was driving. So because you could sit there and make faces at him and stuff, he wouldn't see it. He'd turn his whole head, look at you. No, it sucked, but he got over it. Just like, yeah, sucks, but that's what it is. Good guy. I hated it for him. No way she will time me out for that. Give me Bruce's words.
Oh, I just did it. KLI wants to play today. That's fine. I'm always down for a good game.
I know. I saw guys had that happen before. I've seen people get their nose broken from hard hats. Like something will knock it off and it'll go flipping around and catch it on the nose. Especially those metal ones. Ooh, painful.
Oh, cool. Hi, Mr. Data.
I did, and it was awesome. I'm actually pregnant with triplets, and they're going to be beautiful kids.
Yeah, 3 beautiful kids.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is Veals too.
Oh, now you're going to spam the chat? Okay.
Well, if that's the case, we know what to do with you.
Have fun in hell.
Au revoir.
There you go.
Now,
they'll be back shortly.
Out on the road, did you see that right away, or did you have to look this up later when it was you that was going to respond?
I think it's a bot.
We review the
to
calls
be
as we're
honest.
driving to the call.
Yeah, it's somebody's spot. It'll be back in just a few seconds.
Look, if you're gonna be saying that, you're gonna have to pay it. Like, for real. You need
Yeah.
to give me super chats if you want to keep that shit going.
Not you, Brandon.
No,
You have
not,
to pay
not
to
you,
talk
Brandon.
shit to me. Not you, Brandon. You never have to super chat when you come into
Nope.
my chat.
Oh, there it is. Hey,
Oh,
look.
there
yeah.
we
Never have
go.
to do. Ban and delete. Yeah, we'll just let that ride out for a couple minutes because they're stupid.
I mean, I could turn on subscriber mode, then they're not going to be able to do that.
Yeah, we could do that. It shouldn't take but a second anyhow. So customization, subscribers, boom, mine's done. Save. There you go. Just in case they decide to come over here on mine, it's
Yeah.
harassing. Doesn't. Sorry, folks, but that's how we have to do it.
Then we have at 5:21, 2037, which is 8:37, a duplicate call. Do you see that?
I do.
All right, let's go down to 5:21, 11:16. Officer Science, can you go where I just highlighted here? And it's 20:57, which would be what time?
8:57.
All right, and it has STAT calling AS. What does that mean?
You're subscribed to my channel, Trigger.
You're good. Yeah.
Same here.
And then it has the next entry is 5:21, 2016. It has 21:22:57. So that would be 9:22.
I'm just seeing the thing.
Indeed.
Okay. And it says,
Well,
Thing that
I don't.
Kayla
Okay,
put in there.
read this. What does it say?
I don't understand why they always spam my chat with that. Like, okay, and like, what's your
What's
point?
your point?
What's your point?
Yeah. It's like, oh no, everybody who's here is the people
I
who are
hooked up
here.
with Camelot. I'm not a 30-year-old adult that can make my own decisions and hook up with whoever the fuck I want or anything.
Exactly. Wow. It'd be so difficult for someone to understand that.
Yeah. Apparently.
Wow. A single woman hooking up with a single man. Oh, wow.
Maybe I should. Maybe I
Making
should have an
triplets.
A on my my chest.
Tattoo. No, it should be more like a tramp stamp,
Mhm.
So that way everybody knows. Be careful, obviously, and then everyone be randomly targeted. I love it.
Yeah. Oh no, it wasn't you, KLI.
No, you're good,
No.
KLI. No,
You
it's
didn't miss
not
anything young.
No, you're good.
Matt with Vic. Chuck Lope. Verified husband left Lope. Vic advised verbal.
Yeah, we totally used protection in the sense that it didn't even happen.
They used
abstinence
walls.
is the best protection
Yes.
against that stuff happening.
Absolutely.
They used walls and separate beds to achieve that.
Jesus.
What do you mean? I was in a totally different hotel. I didn't even stay there.
Okay, many walls then.
Many
And
walls, a
buildings.
few streets.
Miles.
And miles apart.
Miles.
Yes.
between
Distance
us.
is the best.
I stayed
protection.
at 20 miles away from the actual convention itself. That's
Oh
the
my
funny part.
God. Where is it? In Montessori? That's in what?
Houston.
Vegas?
Houston, downtown
Oh, God.
Houston.
In the middle of summer.
Yeah.
Of course. When it's hot as all get out.
I mean, what better time to, dress up and put plastic on?
And furry stuff?
Yeah.
Well,
I love
Actually,
it.
there wasn't that many this year.
Maybe that would explain why there's so many people who wear so little clothes to those things. It's because it's just hot as balls.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is.
Pretty much. Wait, what are we talking about?
The George
We're
R. Brown convention.
We're talking about all the time that you spent hanging out with Jessica and Camelot.
And I still managed to somehow hook up with Camelot, even though I was with you the whole time.
Yeah. Amazing how that works, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's because T-Rex was docking with Camelot.
George R. Brown Convention Center.
Oh God.
Dispute and refuse to give any
Hi,
further
T-Rex.
info issued business
What
card.
is that?
Who wrote those two lines?
Papa do? I have no
Yeah.
idea.
What did that mean to you? Those two lines that you just read.
It's a disposition of what happened at the fall.
It's like 100.
Okay, can you
Like
tell me
this.
what
Yep.
that means? And just tell me the words,
Yeah.
what those words are.
Yeah, that we met with the victim. We
It's
checked the
triggered.
location, the husband wasn't there, and that the victim advised us that she just had an argument and that she wasn't.
That wasn't
able to
Shizzy
answer her
T-Rex. That was me.
And because we didn't identify crime,
It's okay. I know you're going to
we gave her
disappear for a
business
little
card,
bit.
letting her know that she could reach out to us
Because when I
later,
talk
something
like
Ryan
this, I know
wants to
how you get.
Oh, you know what? That's even. You gave me a great idea.
Can you stop talking like that? You're making me wet. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna need
What
you
did
to
I say?
stop.
Yeah, Shizzy.
What did I say?
Not you. I was talking to you, Veilhammer.
Oh. No, I have an idea. We could call, instead of calling him T-Rex with an X, just CS.
T-Rex.
T-Rex.
Mm.
No W, just like recreational. Like you're recreational.
Recreational tea.
Well, we'll have him like with a, in the with his big huge body and those little arms like lifting weights
Yeah.
to the song of Eye of the Tiger.
No, Haley, it's not a Mark Jensen reading. Some of it's my normal voice. Some of it.
Yeah, see, we need a T-Rex that's lifting weights, just buffing out those little arms. Those little arms probably.
What is he buffing out with them little arms, though? That's the problem.
Well, you can't reach down there.
Exactly.
And at what point did you close this incident?
whatever it says on the screen. Let's see, 9/22/57.
Okay, and what did incident closed mean?
That we cleared from the location. We're complete. Done.
Okay. Now, if we could go to page base stamp number 12. And do you recognize this document?
I do. It's a summary of all of our calls from that day.
All right, and I believe you testified earlier that you reviewed this document in preparation.
Take care,
for this deposition, is that
Dokkan.
correct?
Yes, I did.
I got a good one for you.
Oh my god, it's Kermit.
Hello there. How you doing?
Are you gonna show the pickle?
I don't know what you're talking about. Are you the one with the black hair? Is your name Emerson? Oh, that's weird. It's Emerson big old titties, you know what I'm saying?
Gotcha, Veal.
Oh, Jesus.
That's
It is not doing.
Oh,
My ribs hurt.
oh. Not Kermit. Oh, there's worse. Is your name Emerson? No, it should be. Should be. Those are some great huge titties. Emerson, great old titties.
Oh my god.
242D domestic violence.
Oh.
It's a code for domestic violence.
And what does the 242D mean?
That's battery.
Officer Science, when we broke before the lunch break, I had just asked you about whether you had believed.
Oh
that
no.
you were at
Ellie timed out KLI.
2016, 16 minutes. Did you recall me asking that?
Yes, I do.
And do you recall saying that that's what you thought was the time that you announced the Depp on May 21st, 2016?
Oh my
Yes, I
god.
recall.
Okay. And in fact, it was significantly less, correct? Okay. And in fact,
Poor KLI.
it was you entered.
He's just getting
4 p.m. and
Oh my god.
at 9
timed out left and right here.
total minutes, correct?
Correct.
And we've seen the video clips of you getting on the elevator and getting off. And that's where those notes come from. Now, once you got off the elevator at 9:04 p.m., the first thing you did was listen for.
I'm going to be giggling for the rest of the time now.
All right, and then you went around and checked out the outdoor courtyard to see if anyone was outside. You recall that?
Yes, I do.
You're welcome.
You saw that there was a woman in the gym who was not related to the incident.
Oh my God. I'm crying.
How
I'm
did you know
laughing
the
so
woman was
hard.
not related to the incident?
Because she seemed unfazed. She was just working out.
Did you speak with her?
No, I didn't.
Do you recall what she looked like?
I don't.
Now, did you take any notes during the entire 15 minutes from when you got off the elevator until when you got back on the elevator?
I did not.
Did Officer Patton, to your knowledge?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay. Did you take pictures or record anything?
I did not.
So after you saw the woman in the gym and looked at the parameter, you went back to the hallway and you met with what you called a white male who was generic. You recall using that term?
They asked me to describe him, yes.
Thanks, Rabbit.
Generic, correct? And what do you mean by generic?
He didn't have any identifying, I don't know, nothing that I could remember. I just remember a male white, nothing out of the ordinary.
What color was his hair?
I don't even remember now.
Did he have facial hair, beard, or mustache?
I don't remember.
Do you recall how tall he was, roughly?
I don't remember anything about him.
Did you ask him his name?
I don't recall.
Now, the generic white male talked with you. Do you recall that?
Yes, I do.
And when you first saw Amber Heard, she was crying, red-eyed,
Oh,
and was
there we
not making
go.
eye contact with you, correct?
And Kayla got timed out
And you asked her
again.
a few questions, and it was quite clear that she did not want to speak to this person. Is that correct?
Correct.
He's doing it. He's trying to get timed out on purpose now.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get timed out. You're a mod triggered.
She was visibly upset. So she would look down. Sometimes she would look up at you when she spoke. But it was back and forth, correct?
Correct.
What was Amber Heard wearing that night?
I don't recall.
What hairstyle did Amber Heard have that night?
I don't recall.
Blonde.
Now, when was the first time you were asked to provide details of the events of May 21, 2016?
I don't recall.
Do you recall providing your testimony at a deposition in July of 2016?
Correct.
Is that the first time you were asked to provide any details of what your recollection was of the events of May 21, 2016?
Correct.
And that was roughly 2 months later, is that correct?
Correct.
And how many shifts had you worked in that 2-month period?
I'm not aware. I don't know.
How many calls had you answered in those 2 months?
I don't know that number.
How many of those calls were domestic violence calls in those 2 months?
I don't know that number.
And if you saw any signs of injury on Amber Heard, or even just damage to property, would you have been duty bound to make a report?
Correct.
Now, your recollection is that there was no damage to the flat. You searched the entire flat and there was no damage, broken glass, or anything out of the ordinary. Would you agree?
Correct.
Did you see anything, did you observe anything out of the ordinary during this particular call that you answered at the penthouse on May 21, 2016?
I did not.
When you left that call, when you got back into that elevator, do you recall what you were thinking?
I remember being impressed by the penthouse, how big and beautiful it was, yes.
But anything else?
No, nothing.
And just so we can stay on that for a minute, you had not heard of Amber Heard at the time of this report, right, on May 21st, 2016?
Correct.
But you did know that Johnny Depp was an actor, correct?
Correct.
And you didn't know that that was Johnny Depp's penthouse.
Elaine.
Reported there, correct?
Correct.
Are you fucking serious?
You just said we're impressed with the penthouse. Would it be fair to say you thought probably somebody with some wealth lived there?
Correct.
Can you bring up plaintiff's exhibit number 23? Officer Science, do you recognize this elevator at all?
Yes, I do.
What do you recall?
That's the elevator from the location.
That's the elevator that Amber got caught cheating in.
With the, what's his face? The dude who was in the Spider-Man movie.
Yep.
You're muted. You're muted, Chizzy.
And the chick.
Brandon says, I remember when I wore a loosely fitting mask. It wouldn't stop anything anyways for my Zoom deposition. It says, blonde and well used. Too worn out for goodwill.
That's why I was giggling because when he was saying that.
Oh dear. And he's gone again.
Oh. Brandon.
No, not Elon. The guy who was in the first Spider-Man movie. Dark hair. I don't remember the dude's name. He played like in the first Spider-Man movie, like the one with Toby, whatever his face is.
Toby Maguire.
Yeah, the guy who was like the opposite, like his character.
Franco.
Yes, there you go, Franco.
Yeah. No, James Franco.
Yeah. There you go.
Alex, I'm going to ask you to go
What's up,
to
folks?
2119. And as you're moving that, Officer Science, I'm going to ask you.
Got it,
to
lot
take a look at
lizard?
this and see if you can tell me
A
what
lot
you
of
are
shit
saying
talking
about
going on tonight, huh?
Maybe.
You think?
Just tonight.
Us
Never.
shit talking? Never. Never do we ever shit talk.
It's just
It
because
was
you can't
never.
talk back.
Yeah, well, I'm here, ain't I?
Well, you might hit that truck.
Nope, never. I only hit concrete pylons.
I love you. You love me. Can I lick you where
See
you
where
pee?
you
What?
pee.
Oh dear. I don't know what that's from, but I don't want to know.
That's the expert.
Expert.
Really?
Yeah, on MG stream.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Does it look like you might have said at the beginning that was crazy?
Expert has a stream tonight titled "Live
Would you agree,
Sitting
though,
on
that you were
Santa's
quite
Lap."
animated in your discussion with Officer Hedden?
No, I wouldn't agree.
The only thing is I mean, can you really get child support for a child that you didn't birth?
I don't know what the rules are with that.
If they're adopted, maybe.
I would assume that there's some paperwork if you have a surrogate. I would assume that the mother and the father have some type of legal paperwork to where they're the ones who are technically responsible. So she probably is getting some change from Elon.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But didn't like she get all like bent out of shape with at Elon because like somebody from her crew had what do you call it? She thought her car was being tracked.
You did not stop T-Rex.
It's called a California stop. Shush. I look both ways. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, don't worry about that small child that, gets stuck in the wheel well. It's okay,
No big deal.
Riding their bicycle, just trying to get across the street. That's all.
Everyone's a critic, huh?
Hey, at least I know how to
I mean,
stay
we're
in the
kind of
door.
like side seat driving here.
Yeah.
How would you describe your demeanor?
Comfortably talking to my partner.
Maybe I'll do that
Right,
if I
I'm
can
going to
figure it
ask
out.
you to take a look at plaintiff's exhibit number 17. And while Alex is bringing that up, so your best recollection is that you saw no injuries on Amber Heard, correct?
Correct.
And your best recollection is you saw no property damage, nothing in disarray, nothing out of the ordinary, correct?
Correct.
And if you had seen either of those, you would have had to file a report, correct?
Correct.
Officer Science, let me ask you this question. So we established that you got off the elevator on the penthouse level at 9:04 p.m. Do you recall that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you recognize the person here?
Yes, I do. Amber Heard.
Okay. And do you see any signs of injury on Amber Heard's face in this picture?
No.
Brandon. Elephant
Your testimony
is
that you do not receive this cheap.
KLI is kind of asking for it though.
Correct. No injury.
It's time people out I see. Why not? No, we're just messing with KLI. We're giving him a hard time. That's all. I fell asleep. What happened?
Oh, look.
Look at private Shizzy.
Look at this section.
Yeah, I see that.
That's funny.
Just don't say anything.
Message. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I love it.
Wait, I can still time him out on your channel.
Uh-huh.
He just noticed that he got it.
What's this?
Congrats, you're gay now.
There you go.
He just noticed.
Oh, Kermit.
Play Kermit for Dave. Oh, Dave. You ready for some Kermit?
Wait, did Dave even see that? I think we need to
No.
bring it up again for Dave.
Okay, Dave.
Oh my lord.
I'll bring it up for you.
And I'll
All
send
right.
him an invite and he should join us.
I'm gonna
He
push the mic
should.
This
away.
would be fun.
He should. He should totally join us. So go ahead and just make the screen and big and yeah, we'll just do this right here. This will make it much better. How's this, Dave?
No. No.
Here, I'll help
Here we
you,
go.
KLI.
There
I'm
we
gonna
go.
take Ellie's wrench away so that KLI can time her out as payback. There you go. Fight to the death.
Here we go.
Jessica's in a shit stirring mood tonight, eh?
Oh, damn it. Did the wrong thing. Oops.
What are you doing?
Are you gonna shell the pickle?
I don't know what you're talking about. Are you the one with the black hair? Is your name Emerson? Oh, that's weird. It's Emerson, big old titties. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my lord,
Hey.
it's such a good line.
Izzy, put that in the private. I'm gonna turn that part into a clip.
Yeah, and you've got to get me that clip too, because that's pretty damn awesome.
Well, that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna upload it to our ZenMine.
Yeah.
Emerson's big old kid. I need to remember that. It's a great line in public, in general.
Yeah, that's gonna give you some love right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. T-Rex, please
You
use that
said I
and let us
like
know how that
Kermit.
works.
No,
Oh my.
I'll only use it at the strip club. Don't take it as a compliment. It'll be fine.
The strip club?
Mhm.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's what he
Yeah.
said.
Yep.
Okay.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'm sure the bouncer won't kick me out or anything.
Oh dear.
Hey, Elefant, how you doing?
That's not MG. That's MLS.
That is MLS.
Yeah.
I said, hey,
Triggered.
Elefant.
Triggered confused.
No, triggered. Confucked.
He's confused, yes. Kind of like me.
Oh boy, it happens. I've done the same thing multiple
Confused.
times. Oh, where is it? There it is. There we go.
I'm asking you to take a look at that eyelid. Is it your perception that that eyelid does not reflect an injury?
It's the very
Is that
first
what
one.
Got it.
Okay, and then up above on the forehead level where the redness is and it looks like there's
Oh, is that it?
bumps, is it your perception that does not reflect an injury? Officer Sands, I'm going to ask you to look at what has been marked as deposition exhibit number 18, close to the time that you alighted from the elevator, correct? Please
Oh, you
describe
better
for me
believe I'm
what
downloading
you see
that.
in this photograph.
A striped carpet with discoloration on the right hand side of the photo, and what I perceive as, I don't know if that's a reflection, some sort of mark.
Now, you believed and testified, in fact, that you considered the hallways to be very well lit that night, correct?
Correct.
Did you see these stains?
No, not that I recall.
Right. Would you agree that those are reddish stains on the right side?
Correct.
What does it look like to you from your experience?
Like a stain, like from a like.
I'm
a
actually
liquid.
colorblind, so I don't know what
Red
color
wine,
the stains
possibly?
are.
It could be, yes.
But you don't recall seeing that in the hallway
Well-
after you got off the elevator?
I do not.
I don't know why you'd be triggered.
Or take any pictures or record anything about it.
Just because it's
Always
large and green
triggered.
doesn't need to be triggered. Large and green will not trigger you.
Okay. Now let's go to number 19.
I don't know. If it's large and green, you're
Do you
having some
recognize
other
what is
issues. I
depicted in
suggest you go to
example
the
number 19?
hospital.
Yes, it's our business card.
And it has 181 on the front of it. What is that?
That's our unit designation.
And then it has Haddon and a badge number. Is that his badge number?
That is the serial number.
Okay, serial number, thank you. And it has your name, and is that your serial number?
Correct.
Who wrote this on the card?
I don't recall.
Would it be either
Batman.
you or Officer Haddon?
Correct.
Do you recognize your handwriting?
I can't tell from this.
Now, I think you indicated when you were looking at the incident recall and the CAD summary that a business card had been left. Do you recall that?
Yes, I do.
And why did you leave a business card?
I advised Amber Heard that she could contact us at any time if she changed her mind and decided that she wanted to speak to us and cooperate.
All right, let's go to number 20. Do you recognize this? What's depicted in this picture?
Yes, I do. It's the back of the business card.
All right, and it
Ooh.
says 5/21/2016, and the time is 9:16 p.m. Is that the time that it was written?
Correct.
Okay, and do you recognize the handwriting on this side?
Oh, I am not touching that one.
It looks like my handwriting.
I'm not either.
Now it says radio call of dispute. Do you see that?
I do.
Did
Even
you-
though I'm kind of on
why did you
elephant side
verbal
here.
dispute?
Good to see you, Dave. Amber.
They'll figure it out.
Dispute. It's the same. It's the
I'm
same
being
They'll figure
a
it
good
out.
boy and not reading chat.
Refuse report,
That's good.
correct?
Correct.
Could you just read this next part that you wrote on?
Sure. Advice can call at later time to change his mind because she was uncooperative and didn't want to speak to us.
Okay. Now, why did you say if change his mind?
Because I was giving her the opportunity to have a resource if she changed her mind.
You're gonna go deal with cats and Christmas decorations? Okay.
Later.
Sounds
Take
good.
care of
Take
yourself,
care.
brother. Take care.
But if Amber Heard had no injuries, and there's no evidence of any type of physical property issues, disarray, breakage, etc.
Oh, I forgot to take pictures of the mugs today.
It's a courtesy that I
Got to take
You're
pictures of
fine.
what?
The mugs. I got them a few days ago, but I have my Jessica Reloaded mugs, one in each color.
Get Jessica's mug on a mug link in the chat.
Yeah.
That's
and
a lot of mugs.
JR20, you can get 20% off.
This is true.
Oh yeah. I need to do some pretty cool merch at some point. I think maybe next year I'll do something that's weird. Like me.
What's it like to be a real YouTuber? I just kind of do it sometimes when I feel like it.
I'm not a real YouTuber.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm just some rando on the internet that makes fun of.
Isn't every YouTuber just some rando on the internet?
Yeah. So you're a YouTuber. There you go. So how does it feel to be a YouTuber?
Yeah.
There you go.
It feels mildly annoying. That's how it feels.
Well, somebody has to. Well, I mean, I feel the same way.
people when I go to calls.
Now, if Amber Heard had called you later, you had already closed this out and had not written a report and had taken no notes, correct?
Correct.
But if I'm understanding your earlier testimony, that if you saw evidence of injury, or if you saw injury of evidence of property damage, even if the victim did not cooperate, you would write a report, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
And we'll go to number 21. Officer signs, this is just a...
Just like how the lady on Zoom with the mask on sounds clearer than Elaine at a podium with a friggin' microphone.
9:19 p.m., 49 p.m. Does that comport with your recollection of when you left?
I don't recall what time I left. I'm just going based on the video that is in front of me.
Okay, do you have any reason to believe that's incorrect?
I don't.
Officer Steins, I'm going to ask you to take a look at exhibit number 24. Okay. Do you recognize the person in this photo?
Yes, Amber Heard.
Okay. Do you perceive there to be an injury or evidence of injury on Amber's face in this photo?
No, I do not.
No, her face is just has that resting bitch face all the time. It's not an injury.
On the cheek and the eyelid and above the eyebrow.
It's consistent with her
I mean, it
crime.
might cause
Her skin, her
injuries
face is
to
flushed.
people's
I'm going to
emotions,
ask
but
you
that's
to
not
look
it.
at exhibit number 25.
That was a bad joke. That didn't work. I'm sorry.
Oh, so is this a deposition or a Zoom? This right here would be a deposition that they they sat in for. They got enough that they just entered it in as evidence as doing their thing, because this happened in 2021 that they took this deposition from this officer. A lot of them just didn't want to come to California, or to Virginia. They were just like, we're not leaving California, because the amount of witnesses they had was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Most likely what happened was both the plaintiff and the defendant were saying, hey, we have no objection to bringing in this testimony, so just kept it as it was instead of having someone come in. They just used their testimony in the deposition. So there you go.
Yes, I do. Do you see a red mark on Amber Heard's cheek and above her eyelid and above her eyebrow on this picture?
Her face looks flushed. She has redness.
What is your perception of what that is caused by?
Like I said earlier, it's consistent with what I see in her crying.
But you don't think it's consistent with a cell phone being thrown at her?
Correct. It does not look like an injury caused from a cell phone.
Okay. And why not?
Because it's consistent with somebody crying. Her face is flushed.
This was taken on May 21st. I'm asking you to look at what this is May 26th. Do you recognize this as Amber Heard?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Officer Steins, do you see any redness on Amber Heard's cheek and above her eyelid and over those?
I do.
And what is your perception of what the cause of those is, those red marks?
It's consistent with her crying. Her face is flushed.
Is it fair to say that you do not believe that this reflects an injury?
Correct.
No.
And would it also be fair to say that you would not consider it sufficient to investigate further?
No.
It's an injury?
There's nothing that would stop me from investigating. I would continue to ask her questions, and it's up to the victim if they want to cooperate.
But just so that we're clear here, even if the victim doesn't cooperate, if you see signs of injury, you still, and I believe you testified to this, believe yourself duty bound to write the report, correct?
Yes.
Duty bone.
You don't perceive this as to be reflective of an injury, is that correct?
Correct.
And I'm going to ask you to take a look at exhibit number 27. Again, do you recognize this as Amber Heard?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And do you see redness on the cheek of Amber Heard on this one?
Yes, I do.
All right. And then you had
Which
testified
one?
on many of these other pictures and on this one as well that this is consistent with crying. Do you see any redness on Amber's other cheek?
Yes, I
Later
do.
triggered.
Is it the same or similar to
Yeah,
the redness
triggered.
on the
I
right cheek?
triggered. Take care.
Have a
Based on this photo, it
fantastic
looks
day, Triggered.
like one cheek is redder than the other.
But you also don't see any swelling with that?
Correct.
I'm going to ask you to take a look at what has been marked.
So what are the pets of YouTube getting for holiday presents?
Nothing.
Rope bones. They always get rope bones. They go through them like insane, just quick. Like
I let Zeus pick his own treats whenever we go to the pet store. That's more than enough. He doesn't need Christmas presents.
yeah, ours go through so many chew toys, and Christmas is the time that the wife likes to throw little Christmas hats on them and outfits. I've got a picture around here somewhere of her old Yorkie that had a jester's outfit. It was awesome.
We
just
He
walked around
has
with a little
3
cell.
dogs.
I have
Rabbit.
3.
Rabbit
usually
is getting
go-
catnip in a kitty stocking.
Aww.
Mm-hmm.
We usually go to the butcher shop and get a pig heart for each of them and boil it and give it to them during Christmas at some point.
The
Well-
Potter trial for display of good lawyering. Yeah, that was an interesting
Kim
one.
Potter?
Yeah, that was an interesting one. Well, I mean,
Oh, was
that
it?
was good.
I don't know if the lawyer was that good.
I mean, good lawyering. If it was a great lawyer, I'd argue that she wouldn't be sitting in jail right now.
Well, the judge had
Yeah, she
something to
would've.
say about that too.
Yeah, that would not matter. She's not in jail anymore, though. She's out.
I knew she was supposed to get out relatively soon. I didn't know she was already out though.
Yeah, most of it was time served. So yeah, she's out, but her life is ruined. I mean,
Oh yeah, and also I saw a picture of her, and she aged really poorly, man. Unfortunately,
well,
I'm sure
that
it was
happens.
stressful being a cop in jail.
Yeah,
Yep.
still.
That happens when you make mistakes like that.
Then there was that story of Chauvin getting I
Yeah.
don't know what word I can say that's YouTube friendly, but
Yeah, the judge barely gave her any time because it's basically if she would have appealed it, by the time it would have been appealed, she would have been out anyway. So
Yep.
it was like it, yeah. And that's just the first part of the appeal. So it was like she just gave her some sentence that was, yeah,
mostly time served. Also, you know,
yeah.
watch jury selection. Oh wow, that sucks. Having to watch a jury selection. Yeah, yeah. And that's sort of how I felt about this last one, Hannah Payne. I know that judge here, and
yeah,
I know the county very well. I don't know the attorneys, but I was I started to like her attorney a little bit more as the days went on. But yeah, it was I could tell that she was going to be pretty screwed from the get go.
Night Rabbit.
And good luck on appeal.
Hope you're feeling better.
Yeah, because the appeal is going to really suck for that one with Payne, because they don't have anybody to do the paperwork. So the way that an appeal works is the clerk's office. They're supposed to put together all of the documents, get the court reporters, notes, all that stuff. All the sidebars, all that crap gets put into a file, and then they pull up what it's going to cost for it to go to appeal. You can't you can file a notice of appeal, but you can't file the appeal until you know how much it's going to cost.
Yeah, and that's where like Zachariah Anderson's case is basically they have to get the money to do it because I think they said the transcripts alone was like $10,000 or something like that, just because there's like so many stinking documents and everything.
Yeah, you can thank the judge for that. You can thank Schroeder for that because he wouldn't shut the F up.
Yeah, but hey, and seeing somebody made the Mark Jensen comment earlier, at least he's always done that. I mean, at least he's consistently terrible.
Yeah, consistently a piece of work. But I mean, it sucks because you know here you are. Imagine being sent to jail. You're just fighting a losing battle.
Yeah, exactly.
You've already lost.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
but that's all. He's got plenty of time to do it. I mean, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
No body, no blood, no weapon, no nothing, and go to prison.
Yeah.
No witnesses, no nothing.
Well,
That's
but there was somebody who was there at the time that this was allegedly supposed to be happening, but nobody looked into her because she works for the court in the neighboring county or something like that. Nobody looked at her though.
Yep.
But yeah.
They protect their own.
Yeah. But I'm gonna have to scoot, guys. I got a few things I need to do before wrapping up for the night.
Well, Bill,
Alright.
before you go,
The one with the black hair, is your name Emerson? Oh, that's weird. It's Emerson big old titties, you know what I'm saying?
See the cucumber at the end.
You didn't see that before?
No, because I was laughing too damn hard.
That's why I made sure the clip had the cucumber because that was the best part.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
That's funny. Oh my god. You guys are a trip. It's always fun.
Take care,
Good night,
everyone.
guys.
You have a good night.
Take care.
We'll see you guys. Thanks.
Love it.
There's exhibit number 28. Do you recognize this as Amber Heard?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And do you see redness on the right cheek and above the eye?
Yes, I do.
And is it your perception that this reflects any type of, or could reflect any type of injury?
No,
Why not?
because my perception is it was consistent with her crime.
All right, let's take this down to 29. I'm going to ask you the same questions. Do you recognize this as Amber Heard?
Yes.
And do you see any redness in the right cheek and above the eyelid?
Yes.
Okay. And is it your perception that these are not indicative of injury?
Yes.
And what is your reasoning?
Consistent with her crying.
Let's take this one down. Let's go to number 30. Now, you testified earlier that you thoroughly searched the penthouse. Do you recall that testimony?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And Josh Drew, the gentleman that you called a generic male, actually took you through and escorted you through the penthouse and the series of penthouses, correct?
Correct.
Officer Science, did you or did you not thoroughly search the penthouses on May 21st, 2016?
We did search the penthouse.
Okay. And you used the term thoroughly, did you not?
I don't recall.
Do you feel like you conducted a thorough search of the penthouses that night?
Yes, I did. I did a sweep of the location for the suspect.
Okay. And when you're talking about a sweep of the location, did you go through every room?
Yes, every room.
Okay. And was there anyone escorting you through those rooms?
Yes, the same male that we were met with at the beginning of the call.
That you called the generic male, correct?
Correct.
Now, you also testified a little earlier that this was a very nice series of penthouses, right?
Yes.
Did you interview the woman that was sitting with Amber Heard?
I attempted to. All parties were uncooperative.
What did you say to the woman that was with Ms. Heard?
I don't recall the exact word, but I introduced myself to everyone and asked if they seen what happened or know what happened, and they all refused to speak to me.
Did you ask for their names?
I recall, yes, I did ask for their names. Nobody would give me their names.
Now, that's a little unusual, isn't it?
No, it's not. A lot of people don't like us.
Well, is it that they don't like you, or is it potentially that they don't want to, with a domestic violence situation, are reluctant to press charges?
Every situation is different. Based on my training experience where I work, it's usually that people do not like us.
Do you have a recollection of what the woman who was with Amber Heard looks like?
No recollection.
Do you know what color hair she had?
I have zero recollection.
So you don't recall how old she was, how tall she was, what her hairstyle was, what she was wearing, anything about her?
Zero recollection.
But somehow you're sure you tried to interview her and she refused to answer questions.
Yes, it's common practice. I try to interview everyone during my investigation.
So did you pull out your notebook at any time while you were in the penthouse?
I did not. I had nothing to write. No one would speak to me.
Well, how did you know that when you started asking the questions that they weren't going to give an answer?
Because they just looked at me.
But wouldn't you pull out your notebook first and then ask the questions? And then write down the answers as they're given them for you?
No, I don't put anything in my hands for officer safety issues until I'm sure that I have something to write.
I'm sorry, officer. Can you repeat your answer?
I don't put anything in my hands for officer safety reasons. If I'm not sure I'm going to write, I keep my hands free. When I ask the questions, I got no answers. Therefore, I didn't take out any notebooks or pens.
Did you have any reason to fear for your safety at the time that you were talking with Amber Heard and the woman with her?
Oh, really? Regina King has been pounding money into funds for Zachariah like a chimp. Well, there's a possibility that Regina King might be one of the people that's raising funds for him on the side, like through YouTube, that kind of thing. There's a big possibility that might be somebody doing that. I don't know though who Regina King is though.
I always fear for my safety. A potential suspect could have been in the house. So yes, my guard was not down if that's what you're asking.
What did you do first? Did you look at throughout the house to ensure that the person wasn't there, or did you ask the questions first and then look at the house?
I attempted to ask questions first. I can't just go into a house and start checking it without asking questions.
So what questions did you ask first?
I don't recall specific questions.
Do you recall any of your questions?
I don't.
Do you recall any of the answers that you were given?
I don't recall.
Now, we went through the domestic violence supplemental report and some of the guidelines for officers on domestic violence. Do you recall that the crime scene, a number of the items reflected location ransacked, location vandalized, furniture in disarray, personal property damage? Do you remember those being items as a checklist for crime scene for domestic violence?
As they pertain to domestic violence reports, yes, I do.
Right. Now, did you ever speak with the two officers who answered the second call to the townhouse that night?
I did not.
Did you ever communicate in any manner with the two officers who answered the second call to the penthouse?
I did not.
Did you communicate through a third party to the second set of officers relating to the domestic violence call in your determination?
I did not.
Did you know the two officers who responded to the second call?
Did not.
Do you know who they are to this day?
I do not.
Have you ever spoken to the other two officers about the responding to this call on May 21st, 2016?
I have not.
Have you ever spoken with anyone else about your response and their response to this call on May 21st, 2016?
I have not.
And just so everybody's aware, up until now, you've been listening to questioning from Ms. Heard's counsel. At this point, I believe we're going to shift over to questioning from Mr. Depp's counsel.
I want you to focus on the date of the incident that we've been talking about during this deposition, and that is May 21st, 2016. I'll refer to that as the date of the incident. You understand what I mean when I say date of the incident?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So as of the date of the incident, for how long had you been a training officer?
Since, I believe, the end of November of 2015.
So between 6 to 8 months?
Yes.
Prior to the date of the incident, for how long had you been a training officer?
4 to 6 months.
Is Valhammer still listening, you think?
I don't know.
He might be.
Maybe.
Find out. Let's find out.
And as of the date of the incident,
You need to watch that trial. Which trial are you talking about? The pain trial? Yeah, that's a dark one. They the judge wouldn't let her, or the attorney never argued at the time that this happened that she was she had the right to make a citizen's arrest. They took that away during Ormont Arbery. Anderson, oh, you haven't seen the Anderson trial? I did not see the whole trial either. I did see a good portion of it. There was things that there was big portions that I didn't catch, but I got enough of it to know that it was a mess. Anderson was a mess.
Is Young still in the chat?
I don't know. She might be. She likes to bounce around.
Young, let us know if you're still in the chat.
Yeah. Please.
I think the last full trial I watched was the Darrell Brooks one. After that, I kind of got burnt out and haven't really been able to watch a full trial since.
I've done a few. Like I watched the whole trial with Baker was doing on Pain. I watched that whole one. I just wasn't on the whole time. I just was watching it in the background because I was working most of the time. So it was pretty interesting. Pretty
Actually,
interesting.
I take that back. I forget what the name of the trial was, but it was that one that Expert and Rackets and basically everyone was covering. Vices was doing it too.
Oh, it's your business.
Yeah, that was the last one I watched all the way through.
Yeah, I did that with the Expert. Watched a decent amount of the Baker one too. Yeah, she got hosed.
Yeah, I gotta say that I thought this business one would be more entertaining, but they did it by the book and they got her put away, and that's
Yeah, I mean that
all we
was
asked for.
decent lawyering, decent defense. I mean, I was hoping she would lose her mind a little bit more, but yeah, that's how it goes. There we go. Autocorrect has watched not a word. I watched a decent amount of the Baker one. Yeah.
approximately how many incidents of domestic violence had you come across?
I couldn't tell you. I believe we said hundreds.
Yes, that's how I understood it from testimony of it in previous depositions of yours. So it's in the hundreds?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you and you indicated that you proceeded to the incident at Eastern Columbia Building due to what you heard from dispatch. Is that correct?
Correct.
And do you recall, as you sit here today, what you were told from dispatch that led you to the Eastern Columbia Building on the date of the incident?
I don't have an independent recollection.
As you sit here today, do you recall that it had something to do with a dispute at that location.
Correct.
And when you first arrived at the scene of the incident, what did you first do on entering the building?
We met with a security guard in the lobby who escorted us to the elevator.
Did you ask that security guard any questions about the building? Sorry, suggest that security guard any questions?
Not that I recall.
Did the security guard escort you up to the penthouse?
They gave us access through the elevator. I do not believe that they came up to the penthouse with us. I believe they just accessed the elevator.
Okay. And when you arrived at the penthouse and exited the elevator, was it just you and your partner, Mr. Haddon, Officer Haddon?
Yes.
And what did you do next?
We tried to listen for any kind of sounds of domestic violence. We checked the hallways. We didn't observe anyone. We went out to a courtyard, didn't observe anyone. And based on what I was just reminded of, there was a woman in the gym who didn't seem involved, was working out, looked fine, nothing out of the ordinary. And then we responded to a door in the hallway, and I knocked and was met by a male.
Okay. Up until that point in time, from exiting the elevator to knocking on that door, did you see anything that indicated a crime?
I did not.
Dude, that sucks. Don't know if you heard you blather on about this, but your wife got a preemptory strike for that sucks. That sucks. That you didn't get a camera on that one. No, that she oh no, that would have been awesome. Okay, so what he's talking about is basically his wife got someone stricken from a jury for the graping allegation.
Oh, I had no idea what you were talking about. I was looking at my grade.
Sorry. She just
I got a B. I got a B in my English class.
Hey, congrats. That's great.
No, that's terrible.
Oh man.
So
I like
bad.
A's.
B.
I am one of those that like they have to be all A's or else I'm not happy.
All right. Well, the pity party later.
I'll staple that B to your forehead. In shame. Bow in shame.
Shame. Shame.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
I mean,
Oh,
I
he
think
said-
I think a B is pretty good compared to you were like, all I want to do is get a passing grade like 3 months ago. That was your goal.
Yeah.
Brandon said she just out of jury duty. It would have been hilarious if we watched it. The defense struck her too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I wish I knew what that was and it was available. See, I do have a problem with watching the ones where there's the grape allegations or where kids are involved. Like those can like go for the murder any day, but the violence of a lot of that other stuff, it's just like I have a hard time watching those on like a stream. Like the Dorn one, that one was rough.
Well, and I would also think that in the essay type cases, they're going to say a lot of the YouTube no words, and that's a real
I'm not
danger.
that doesn't bother me. I mean, them saying words does not bother me. It's the
Well, it doesn't bother me
it's
either.
the
I'm just talking about
it's
getting
the
your channel stricken.
it's just the cruelty of that kind of shit is not impressive. So, well, no, I know you're not saying that part would be hilarious. I understood what you're talking about, having the actual jury would be a good one. I just, fuck me, I cannot imagine having to. I just have a hard time doing those streams, and they're going to happen. Like if Amber would have been like a serious victim in all this crap, it would have been heartbreaking.
Mhm.
I mean, it would have just been like, but it never was that way. It just looked like she was just evil and vindictive. Pan over to the jury box. Oh, God. Watching a long crime pan over to the jury box whenever that happens. Yeah.
Up to the point where you knocked on that door, did you see or hear or witness anything indicating that there had been a domestic violence perpetrated?
I did not.
Up until you knocked on that door, did you see anything which you would have considered out of the ordinary?
I did not.
And I guess what I'm asking is, walking from the elevator to the gym and then to the door that you knocked on, were you in the hallway?
Yes, I was in the hallway.
And during that time period from exiting the elevator through to knocking on a door, was there anything in the hallway that was unusual for you?
Not that I observed, no.
Did you see any stains on the floor?
Not that I recall.
Did you see any vandalism in that area?
No, I did not.
Did you see any broken glass in that area?
I did not.
And if I'm not mistaken, this is the first cop that showed up, because there were two sets of cops that came. There was one set that showed up, and there was another set that showed up later. So,
Upon knocking on the door, what happened next?
A male opened the door. I don't remember the exact questions and conversation we had, but I remember asking if they called for help, and he said that it was the neighbor and that she was inside of his house apartment with his girlfriend. And I asked him if they could step out, and he told me to wait, and he shut the door. And we waited. We waited for them to exit. I don't remember how much time passed by, and they came out, and that's when we were met with his girlfriend and who I know now is Miss Heard in the hallway.
And up until that point in time, did you hear anything that led you to believe that a crime had been committed?
I did not.
Up until that point in time, did you see anything that made you believe that a crime had been committed?
I did not.
Up until that point in time, did you hear anything that made you believe that there had been an act of domestic violence there?
I did not.
Up until that point in time, did you see anything that made you believe that there had been an act of domestic violence there?
I did not.
Okay. So you indicated that after you knocked on the door, you spoke with the gentleman. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you previously testified to someone as a generic white male. Is that the same person?
Yes.
I love it.
Testimony when you were referring to the generic.
How would you like to be referred to as a generic white male? He's just generic. It's like white bread. I mean, you pick one out of the loaf, it looks the same as the other one. I love it.
White male. That's the person who opened the door when you first knocked on it, correct?
I
Yes,
mean,
there was
I
only
don't
one male
know.
at the
I
location.
like being able to blend in with a crowd, so I'd be fine with that description.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't be? Here we go. We'll change my name to Eric White Male. There we go. I love it.
And besides my partner.
And there's only one male. Is that for the entire time you're at the location?
Yeah.
So in the hall.
That's a
you
surprisingly
met with
good name for a
generic white
YouTube
male.
channel.
Do what?
I said that's a surprisingly good name for a YouTube channel, generic white male.
Yeah. Yeah, so Traveling Fools and me and somebody else, we might be doing another weird YouTube channel. It's
Nice. I
it's
said
gonna be
nice.
it's gonna be all political bullshit. We're gonna see how fast we can get it removed from YouTube. Oh, I was like, this will be fun. We'll see how it goes. He's about 5'10", 170, wearing a MAGA hat, hair and eyes.
This is MAGA country.
This is MAGA country. Nate was so great whenever you would do that. You kill me.
Miss Heard and the generic white male girlfriend, is that right?
Definitely.
Okay, with those people?
Says it again.
Correct.
And you were there with your partner, Officer Haddon?
Correct.
And how, in the hallway, how far were you standing from Ms. Heard?
It was close, probably like 2 to 5 feet.
Okay. And at that time, did you notice any injuries on Ms. Heard?
I did not.
Okay. Were you looking to see if she had any injuries at that time?
Yes, I was.
And so you were looking to see if Ms. Heard had any injuries, and you determined that she did not. Is that accurate?
Correct.
And was the lighting good enough in the hallway for you to make that determination?
Yes, the hallways was well lit.
And at the time, were you wearing any sort of corrective lenses?
I was not.
Glasses, eye contacts.
Although you were not wearing corrective lenses, were you prescribed corrective lenses at the time?
No, I have never worn glasses, and I'm not prescribed. I have good vision.
Corrective
And at
lens
that
could
time,
be
did
anything.
you have good vision?
Yes, I did.
At the time you were observing Ms. Heard, did you have good vision?
Yes, I did.
And did you observe any injuries at that time?
I did not.
What did you ask Ms. Heard at that time, if anything?
I don't have an independent recollection. Again, it's been so long. I don't remember specific questions.
Okay. Now, let me just back up a little bit. During the time period when you left the elevator and when Ms. Heard came onto the hallway, at any time did the generic white male tell you that there had been an act of domestic violence?
No, he did not.
Did he tell you anything that made you think there may have been an act of domestic violence?
No, he did not.
Did he tell you anything that made you believe that a crime may have been committed?
No, he did not.
No, he
And
didn't.
during that time period, did you ask him what had happened or what was happening?
Yes, I did ask him, and he just refused to give me any information.
Yep. Generic white male.
Now, fast forward to what we were talking about with respect to you in the hallway with the generic white male Ms. Heard and the generic white male's girlfriend. After you observed her and saw no sign of injury, what did you do next?
I advised her that we would be conducting a protective sweep just to make sure that there was no one else in the house. And she agreed if her neighbor, the male, could accompany us with the protective sweep.
Okay. Up until that point in time, did you ask Ms. Heard what happened?
Yes, I did.
And what was her response?
No response. She was uncooperative.
And Officer Stein, at that time, was Ms. Heard cooperative?
Ms. Heard was uncooperative.
Thank you. And by uncooperative, does that mean that when you asked her a question, she wouldn't say a word? Did she say something that made you think she was not cooperating?
She wouldn't say anything.
Okay. So just to be clear, you would ask questions and she wouldn't say anything?
Correct.
And what did you do at that point?
After the protective sweep, I asked her again if she wanted to talk to me, if anything happened. Again, I don't remember the specific questions that I asked her, but I asked her questions to establish if there was some sort of crime, who was involved. And again, she wouldn't give me any information. I attempted to ask her friend, the other woman in the room. I even asked the males to wait in the hallway so we could just be us women in there so we could talk privately.
Love how Depp is doing acid and drawing fantastical scenes of dragons eating knights right now. That's true. That is so true, though. I don't know if he's eating acid, but well, I guess the Skittles or whatever it is he's eating could be considered acid. Him and what's his name? Damn it, this attorney Ben Chu sitting there eating candy while the trial's going on. He's just drawing pictures. It was like, we got to get through all this shite.
Maybe she felt more comfortable that way. Still, they denied that there was any crime. They wouldn't answer any specific questions. So I wrote a business card. I advised her if she changed her mind that she could call us at any time and we would respond to help her out.
So backing up a bit to the time you were in the hallway with the three of them, and you testified that Ms. Heard was uncooperative, and then you indicated you did a sweep. I want to start with from the point of time in the hallway where she was uncooperative, transitioning to the sweep. How did that occur? Did you ask her if you could look in the penthouses? How did you go from standing in the hallway to conducting the sweep?
With our feet?
I don't recall.
No, before you swept the penthouses, did you ask if you could enter the penthouses?
Yes, I did.
And what was the response?
I I can't remember if she gave me a response or nodded her head. I can't remember.
From what you observed or heard from Ms. Heard, you took it that she was permitting you to enter the penthouses and look around. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Okay. Was it more?
Oh, I'm wondering. I used to have one of those pens. Of course, I was in a school where they had those damn things. Box of colored pencils. I think he actually had a box of different colored pencils.
More than one penthouse?
There was 2.
Okay. And this term sweep we've been using, is that a technical police officer term?
Yes.
What do you mean by conducting a sweep?
It's called a protective sweep, and we do so to make sure that there's no other individuals that may be victims that are hurt inside of the location, or suspects hiding, concealing themselves from officers that would attack the victim after we left the location. So we go in to verify that any potential suspects are gone from the location for the victim's safety.
Thank you. And you conducted a protective sweep of 2 penthouses, correct?
Correct.
What was your understanding of who owned or lived in the first penthouse that you performed a protective sweep on?
It was my understanding that Amber Heard, that it was her home. Again, the gentleman directed us. That's why he came with us, so we wouldn't get lost.
I see. And during your protective sweep during the first penthouse, did anybody accompany you during the entire sweep?
Yes, the only male that was there besides my partner.
Okay. And your partner conducted the sweep with you?
Correct.
Okay. And as to the protective sweep of the first penthouse, did you go into every room of the penthouse?
To my knowledge, yes.
And was your knowledge based on the generic white male leading you around?
Correct.
Was it your understanding that your protective sweep included you looking in every room in the penthouse?
Correct.
During the protective sweep of the first penthouse, did you see anything?
Welcome back, Elifant.
Led you to believe that a crime had been committed?
I did not.
During the protective sweep of the first penthouse, did you hear anything that made you think a crime had been committed?
I did not.
During the first protective sweep, did you see anything that made you think that an act of domestic violence had occurred?
I did not.
During the protective sweep of the first penthouse, did you hear or see anything? I'm sorry, did you hear or see anything that made you believe an act of domestic violence had occurred?
I did not.
Okay. Upon your completion of the protective sweep of the first penthouse, up until that point in time, from you exiting the elevator up until that point in time, did you hear or see anything that made you believe that a crime had been committed?
I did not.
Up until that point in time, did you hear or see anything that made you think an act of domestic violence had occurred?
I did not.
Now, I want to ask you, you testified to you viewing Ms. Heard and not seeing any signs of injury. Did you view her again after that first viewing?
During the interviews and throughout the entire investigation, I'm constantly scanning her and watching. So if I see any other observations that would indicate any injury or domestic violence.
And did you see anything like that?
I did not.
And you didn't see, did you see anything like that during the entire time period that you were on that call? And do you believe that you had enough time viewing Ms. Heard to determine whether or not she had sustained any injuries?
Yes, I do.
And did you determine that she sustained any injuries?
I determined that she did not sustain any injuries.
So other than the conversation you had with her in the hallway when you first got there, did you have any other conversations with Ms. Heard?
I did. Inside of the loft or penthouse, sorry.
Okay, was that before or after the protective sweep?
I believe both, before and after. I attempted.
Okay, how many separate conversations did you have?
Just for T-Rex.
I don't
There you go.
Okay.
See that, Jess? Just for T-Rex.
And there was one.
What did I
before
do?
or after the protective sweep?
Oh,
correct?
what?
I'm sorry, I missed that answer.
Correct.
Okay. And
I like it.
during the
Wait,
Love it.
I'm so confused. What's happening?
He drew a T-Rex.
The same.
Yeah.
2 to 5 feet. So it's right in front of me.
She got a little T-Rex on her mask.
Oh, there it is.
To determine whether or not she had any injuries?
Yes, I was.
That's adorable.
And
I
during
wish
that
I
second
could draw
conversation,
half
did you
as good
determine
as you.
whether or not she had any injuries?
I determined that she did not have any injuries.
At any point in time during the incident, during the date of the incident, did she complain of any injuries?
She did not.
Well,
During the
got
protective
parked
sweep
at
of
the
penthouse,
Walmart.
did you see anything in disarray?
I did not.
Okay. Now, you indicated, let me ask you, did you do a protective sweep of the penthouse?
Yes, I did.
Generic hair. Oh, I
White
could.
male accompanying you,
Let me draw some lips on her too.
Yes, he did.
I bet she has
What was your
full
understanding
lips.
of who owned or resided in that second penthouse?
I had no idea.
Did you, during that second protective sweep, did you walk through every room in that penthouse?
From my understanding, yes, we did.
Okay. And during that second protective sweep, did you see anything that you would say?
All
was
right, guys, I'll
inappropriate?
be back in like
I
20
did not.
minutes. I gotta go do
right.
some
During
human
that
things and
second
get some
protective
water.
sweep, did you see anything
Sounds
that made you
good.
believe there had
Yes,
been a
okay.
crime committed?
I did not.
During that second protective sweep, did you hear anything that made you think a crime had been committed?
I did not.
During the protective sweep of the second penthouse, did you see
What?
anything that made you believe an act of domestic violence had occurred?
I did not.
During the protective sweep of the second penthouse, did you hear or see anything that made you believe a crime had been committed?
I did not.
After you performed the protective sweep of the second penthouse, what did you do?
I re-responded to where Amber Heard was, and I again tried to see if I could get any information from her. I was unsuccessful, and then I issued her the business card
Dimple chin.
and let her know that she could call us back if she wanted to talk.
Did she answer any of your questions?
No, she did not.
At any point in time during the entirety of the incident, did Ms. Heard answer any of your questions?
No, she did not.
During the entire time of the incident, did Ms. Heard complain of any injuries?
No, she did not.
During the entirety of your time at the incident, did anybody say anything that made you believe a crime had been committed?
No, they did not.
During the entirety of the time you were at the incident, did anybody say anything that made you believe an act of domestic violence had occurred?
No, they did not.
During the entirety of your time at the incident, did you see anything that made you believe a crime had occurred?
I did not.
During the entirety of your time at the incident, did you hear anything
There we
that
go.
made you believe a crime had been committed?
I did not.
Give her a
During the entirety of your time
unibrow.
At the incident, did you hear or see anything that made you believe
I'm not
an
gonna
act
lie,
of
her
domestic violence had
deposition
occurred?
is going by so slow that I'm
Haven't
literally
heard of
listening to music
anybody by the name of
and
Mr.
jamming
Depp.
out.
Never.
Yep.
Amber Heard.
No, I've never heard of Amber Heard.
Here,
before that time.
I'll send you the link to what I'm listening to.
Oh, cool.
It's a Turkish song.
Look at
Did you recognize
that. It looks like he's got a mustache
I did not.
and a red bow tie.
at the time of the incident? Did you have any reason to believe that anybody you encountered at the incident
Put it in the private for you.
was famous?
All right. Oh my gosh, this is the worst part of it.
And during the entire time that you were at the penthouses
I thought that
during
was
the
a
incident,
dude.
did you have any reason to believe that
Even Johnny's
were
like, this is
involved
a
in
drag.
the incident?
Yes.
I did not.
Like I can't even draw anymore. It's
My last question was,
such a
where-
drag. It's the only one here. Yeah, it's okay. This is like the most boringest part of the whole damn thing.
Question, during the entire time you were at the
It happens.
penthouses during the incident, did you witness any bruises on Miss Heard? And there was not a response.
I did not observe any injuries on Miss Heard.
Did you observe any swelling on?
I did not.
That is beautiful.
Anything that led you to believe that she was a victim of domestic violence?
I did not.
Alex, if you can pull up Exhibit 2.
Oh, jeez. And he'd give her some beady eyes or something. Maybe a little bit of.
So is this going to be Exhibit 57?
Yeah.
Give her a Fu Manchu kind of mustache there.
On July 18, 2016, in connection with Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard.
Yes.
Okay. And do you recall giving testimony in connection with that deposition under oath? Yes, I'm sorry.
Yes.
And did you give accurate and true testimony at that time?
Yes.
To the
You
question.
understood you were under oath, correct?
Correct.
Alex, if you can go to page 26. Officer Sines, do you recall testifying as to, do you recall testifying that, and I'm talking about today, do you recall just testifying that you can't recall what Ms. Heard said to you, if anything?
I'm gonna
I do
do
not have
some
an
ghost
independent
hunting.
recollection, but I can go off what I'm seeing here on my screen.
Your Honor, we're at 5 o'clock. It looks like we have about 18 minutes left. Do you want to?
You don't have any problem finishing it tonight, do you? Let's go and finish it. Thank you.
Is she wearing?
And do you agree with me that
leather
for
chaps?
memory of the
Or does she have her pants down around her?
incident was fresher on July 18, 2016
The
than it is
hell?
today.
Yes, that is
Her
correct.
pants are totally down.
And the incident was
They are.
July 1st,
Pants are
2016.
totally down.
The
Okay.
deposition was taped July 18, 2016. How long after the incident was this deposition taken?
I'm fucking with you.
I just saw the first part of it. I'm like, oh.
And tell us if I could have control.
I thought they look like they could be chaps that she's wearing almost. On skin.
Oh my.
Delayed off of that.
This is Alex speaking. Yeah, I'm afraid I can't help that. I'm sorry, Mr. Presciato.
Officer Symes, I'm going to start here. Do you see my cursor?
Yes, I do.
I'm going to start here at line 3. The question is, okay, so we'll get back to that. Before you did a sweep or a check of the rest of
This is awesome.
with Ms. Heard
I love it.
when you were in the apartment. Answer, yes, I did. Okay, question. Okay, can you tell us about that conversation?
Asked
Answer,
and
sure.
answered.
Answer, what happened? What's the
Yep.
question? She said nothing, and she continued
Move
to cry.
on.
I said, who do you live with? Who do you live here with? She shook her head as if she did not want to answer. I asked her, are you hurt?
She might be. Should go on beers and cheers tonight and bring Dave with you.
And she shook her head again, no.
Beers and
At that
cheers.
point, I asked her if she would mind if I checked her apartment.
I don't think I can
And
get
that's
Dave
when
over
she
there,
said
though.
No. Officer, does this refresh your recollection of the conversation you had with Ms. Heard at that time?
Yes, it does.
And your testimony that I just read, is that
Oh,
true and accurate?
I forgot to
Yes,
turn
it is.
on
During
virtual.
the entire time period you were at the penthouses
There we go.
on May 21st, 2016, did Ms. Heard say that she had been assaulted in any way by anybody?
No, she did not.
Yes, Dave does need to expand his horizons. Beers and cheers would definitely do it for you. Looks like he's wearing a bow tie. Or
Protective sweep of the 2 penthouses. Did you do anything that you would characterize as vandalism?
I did not.
Purple shirt, black and white shirt, or both, Jess?
During the entire time you were at the penthouses on May 21st, 2016, were you looking for any probable cause to believe that a crime had been committed?
Both?
Yes, it was.
Oh, wow.
And what did you determine?
I determined there was no crime.
What am I answering?
What did you determine? with
Why
respect
am I
to the
answering
probable
that?
cause?
I don't know. That's what she was
There were no probable
asking.
causes.
Oh, she's shopping. Okay. Both? You can't just ask me that and not tell me what you're doing, Ellie. How am I supposed to know?
Yeah. Damn it, Ellie.
T-Rex. I sent him the link to that song.
During the
And
entire
he's
time
like,
Yeah.
okay,
you were
I
at
like her voice
the
and the
penthouses
beat.
on May
I'm like,
21st,
yeah,
2016,
dude, I've been listening to it
were
nonstop.
you wearing any body-worn video cameras?
I was not.
Oh.
Are you certain of that?
I am certain.
And how is it that you are certain of that?
Damn lawyer left again.
Because I
Yeah,
didn't
he's
start using
sneaking
body
out of
video
there.
until
Does that?
June of 2016.
And that's after
Oh.
the date of the incident, correct?
Correct.
Alex, if you wouldn't mind putting Exhibit 9 back up.
Wasn't as interesting, or not as interesting, whatever else it is that he might be watching.
Officer Klein, you were shown this document earlier. What is this document?
It is a domestic violence supplemental report.
And do you recall counsel asked you about the victim column and the crime scene column?
Yes, I do recall.
Do you also see that there's a suspect column in the middle?
Yes.
Okay. And is there any difference between a victim column and a suspect column with respect to the box terms?
No difference.
Did you fill out one of these forms in connection with your investigation on May 21st,
Let's
2015?
down too far.
I did not,
Why not?
because it was determined there was no crime.
And Officer Sines, just one more question with respect to that Exhibit 9. I know it's not up, but the fact that you did not fill out that form, is that
That'd be funny.
Yes, it is. I wouldn't fill that out because there
Just
was no
put
crime.
rules on
It's
sunglasses.
not called for.
when you testified during the London trial,
You know, I don't know if there's actually any rule if there a prescription that they would say anything about it. You know, they'd probably just be like, yeah, you know, whatever. As long as we can see your eyes, who knows?
at the time, did you
I'm just so glad that they never even looked at her. Just like, I'm done with you. Attitude, I love it.
believe your testimony was accurate?
Yes, I do.
At all times, you've testified under oath in any legal proceedings, trials, depositions. Do you always give accurate and truthful testimony?
Yes, I do.
No, I tell lies all
Any
the
reason to
time.
not give
I'm a police
accurate and
officer.
truthful testimony in connection with this deposition?
I do not.
Officer Sines, do you see these two pictures?
Yes, I do.
Do you recognize the person in the pictures?
Yes, Amber Heard.
In both pictures?
Yes.
Do you see a difference in these two pictures, between these two pictures?
Yes, I do the lighting of the photos.
Do you see any difference in connection with the redness on the cheeks of Ms. Heard as between these two pictures?
Yes, I do. The left side is the photo's brighter.
Yep.
And other than that, would you agree with me that
There it is.
the pictures are the same? In other words, Ms. Heard's face, the position of her face, everything about her in these pictures is identical except for the differences that you indicated.
Yes.
Boom. There it is.
And even though these are the same pictures, do you see any difference with respect to the redness on Ms. Heard's face with respect to the two pictures?
Yes, the photo on the left is brighter, causing the redness on the cheeks to what appears to be brighter or exaggerated.
Oof.
What does it say with
Damn.
respect to, let's concentrate on the picture on the left.
And they'll show all these pictures later.
Can you read for me what it
Yeah,
says
it's
in the little box at the very top on the left? Under add a title, do you see a date and a timestamp?
and I think this is the kind of stuff that like destroyed all of credibility that
Yes, I
Amber
see it.
Heard has,
What's it say? Date
as
and
it
timestamp?
should.
Date is
Because
May 21st,
you know, she's
2016.
going to be a little bit.
Timestamp is 9:25:12
You could
p.m.
totally see.
And now let's look at the other
And
picture,
she
exhibit
bringing
29,
this up.
at the same spot.
You know, just bringing this stuff up. And I mean, he's doing such an excellent job on pointing all of these differences out. And the jury, of course, is sitting there going, really? And then they look and they go, oh, yeah, it does. It's the same exact picture. Just one's lit up to make it look better.
Can you read for me what the timestamp says?
Kick them down. Oh, yeah.
Yes, it says May 21st, 2016, 9:25:12 p.m.
So both exhibits, both pictures are the same exact timestamp, correct?
Correct.
And even though that's the case, you still believe that there's a difference between the two pictures as you previously described.
Yes, I do.
Three signs, do you see exhibit 41?
Yes.
Do you recall counsel asking you questions
Yes.
during your detective sweep of the two penthouses on May 21st, 2016? Did you see anything in disarray?
No.
Amaretto cream, yeah. Oh, that cop's mask is going to fall off. Yeah, it will.
Officer Sines, I think you answered this, but up until the present, for how long have you been a LA Los Angeles police officer?
I will be going on 12 years.
Officer Sines,
Signs.
in connection with your investigation at the Eastern Columbia building on May 21st, 2016, were you in a rush in any way?
Yes,
with this investigation?
No.
Were you willing to stay as long as necessary to determine if a crime had been committed?
Yes.
And the court is almost empty at the end of the day.
On May 21st, 2016 at the penthouses, did Ms. Heard ask you to file a report?
No.
Yeah, 'cause this was one
Anybody,
of the more boring,
spoke with or saw on
boring
February
parts
16th,
of the damn
the
thing.
penthouse has asked you to file a report.
No.
Did you have any cause to file a report?
No.
And was that determination in line with your training?
Yes.
What day was it that crazy lady came in there screaming about having Johnny's baby and stuff like that? It was towards the end, wasn't it?
Ooh, I do not remember.
Oh, that was crazy. Can't wait to get to that part. I mean, like, all the stuff going on outside of it was just as interesting as what
If
was
you had
going
witnessed
on in the
anything
courtroom.
that led you to believe that an act of domestic violence had occurred, would you have filed a report?
Yes.
And you, in fact, did not file a report, correct?
Yes. Correct.
And if you had witnessed something that led you to believe that an act of domestic violence had occurred, would you have filed a report even if Ms. Heard had asked you not to?
Yes.
And is that in line with your training?
Yes.
Officer Science, you were asking questions.
And just so everybody's on the same page, we have about a minute and a half of questions from Mr. Heard's counsel at this point.
Oh, Lord.
You were got off the elevator in the penthouse and when you got on and how much time you
Voices
spent
like
on the
nails on a
penthouse
chalkboard.
level. I approached it in my earlier, but based on the cross-examination, I feel like we need to go back to that. So I'm going to ask you to take a look at what is exhibit number 6. And you recognize you and Officer Haddon in this picture?
Yes.
Okay. And what time does the timestamp on this picture say for the elevator?
It says 21:04:43.
Okay, that's 9:04:43. Would that be right, PM?
Yes.
And you looked at this earlier. I'm going to ask you to take a look at it again at 21. And so
Where
this
is
one
the
has
DUI guy?
what time?
So DUI guy, if I'm not mistaken, is not in the courtroom at this point. He doesn't come in until a little bit later on. But if he is here, I believe that he's sitting over in this area over here somewhere, like back over in that area. Because I think people were watching the TV and everybody wanted to be in this whole area right here because that's where the camera's facing. Or they wanted to be over in here because they would just be like, "Oh, look, I can be on TV." It's like, I don't know, if I showed up, I wouldn't want to be seen in that area. It's funny, Dave was trying to get me to go down to the courthouse for that pain trial. I was like, nope, not doing it, not going. Nope. I can't be armed coming out of that place or going into it. And I know what that place looks like around that time of night. By the time it's ending, you do not want to be there. You really don't want to be there. Besides, it's a damn courthouse. I just don't like courthouses. If I don't have to go to one, I won't.
Same. I'd rather not.
29. All right, and allowing for your, and Officer Science, you said earlier that you weren't sure whether there were accuracies or inaccuracies in terms of the elevators, but allowing for that there may be any issues at all, would you agree that it still means that you were on and off that elevator in 15 minutes?
Assuming the times are correct, yes.
Okay. You were asked to look at a number of the pictures that I had shown you earlier that were taken on the night of the time that you and Officer Haddon had returned to Ms. Heard's penthouse. Do you recall seeing those again and being asked about them?
Yes.
You were asked by counsel for Mr. Depp to take a look at those again, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And he asked you if you had seen any of those photographs before, and you indicated that you had not, correct?
Correct.
So, other than what was placed in the CAD summary by either you or Officer Haddon, and then also went into the incident recall, are you aware of any documentation that either you or Officer Haddon collected relating in any manner to your visit to the penthouse on May 21, 2016?
No.
All right, thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the testimony for today. Please do not do any outside research and don't
do anything that we wouldn't do. Don't do anything silly. The courthouse my wife has to go to was on Martin Luther King Boulevard in Newark, New Jersey. I think Newark has taken the lead in murder capital of the U.S. a few times. Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah. It's rough. I mean, there's courthouses that you just don't really want to go to. I mean, like my wife had to deal with an attorney that was he was opposing counsel, and he's been arrested a couple of times for assault and battery. Yeah. Yeah, she was a little worried going into the courthouse one day. And I said, I'll be down there with you. I guess he confronted her one time outside of, like in the parking deck. I was like, yeah, I'll go down there with you. Cause he shows up. I'll just wait outside. That's all. I'll just wait outside. He comes anywhere near you. That might be the last thing he does. I'll have a nice talk with him. Be
Nice
very
friendly
gentle.
talk.
Nice friendly talk. Yeah. She was like, no. I was like, no, I ain't gonna play that. So some attorney that is officer of the court is gonna get up in your face, like start intimidating you. I ain't gonna put up with that. Not my wife. Hell no. Like, ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. She knew it too. Hey, Gutters Pub. Good to see you, Gutter Girl. I was
Gutter girl.
I was just talking about you earlier today. But yeah, that's I don't know. Some of these attorneys can be really, really a pain in the ass. You know, like some of them can be real aggressive or mean. And some of the attorneys she's been dealing with on certain cases here, it's like they're just bad news. Hey, Abomination, Bull's name, ringlet, door knocker thing. Oh, I knew I should have drawn that too on the officer, giving her a little bull ring, officer bull ring. That would have been funny as hell. Yeah, that's going to some of these places. These folks can be pretty rough being around them. Yeah, it's crazy. I was hoping MG would get started up here pretty soon, but it doesn't look like he started up. and you. MLK is every city is ghetto as fuck. Maybe, could be. I don't know. I haven't been to every MLK Boulevard. I think a lot of them used to be called Washington Boulevard and stuff like that, weren't they? Like they didn't start changing the names of them until much later. Like, I don't know. That would be a curious thing to check and see if it was what the name of these streets were before they changed their name to MLK. I would be interested in knowing. I'll have to look into it sometime. Maybe do a weird stream on it. So I've got a conundrum. Saturday, I'm going with my wife. We do this thing with a group of people around Christmas. We all get together, just a group of friends. And this one is going to be Saturday, so I won't be streaming Saturday night doing the Disturbed series, which I usually do over on Rumble, because it's because I'm doing the Twin Flame stuff. So
yeah,
that's only going to be over on Rumble, but I usually fire it up over here on YouTube so people can, sort of join in and see what's going on. And then I kick it over to Rumble about halfway in. I give a little information on the first part of it, but I'm not going to be able to do it Saturday and Sunday. I'm doing my like Christmas reading, for our story time stuff with Diva and Volstorm, Kaiser. So what should I do? Because I really don't want to skip over this one. What do you think I should do? And do an early Saturday or something?
Yeah, do it early Saturday. What time are you going with your wife?
Probably like 7, 8, something like that. And I mean, I'll be back like in the evening, but it might be midnight before I get home, or it could be 10 o'clock. I don't know. It's hard to tell with this group.
Why don't you start in like the afternoon or something?
Just poll the chat for what to do. Do what now? I'm sorry.
Start in the afternoon.
Started in the afternoon. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I'll put it. Yeah, Brandon's right. You should pull the chat. Pull the chat. Saturday. What day? Day or time to do disturbed. Let's see. Disturbed. Let's see. Day or time. Let's see. Well, let's look. Saturday. Let's see. I've got I could do Saturday afternoon. Saturday afternoon. I've got Friday afternoon. I could do it also. And then I've got, let's see, Sunday morning or morning, Sunday morning and Sunday afternoon. Sunday afternoon. So one of those four, I should be able to do the Disturbed series. Yeah, Saturday afternoon, Friday afternoon, Saturday. So I don't want to do Friday night because there's always so much going on. Football overlap. Come on now, you're better than that. Football overlap. Wait, isn't football over? I'm kidding. I know we got football going on. You're better than that. Yeah, Sunday. Yeah, but see, that's not a bad thing, is having the football overlap, because see, a lot of the ladies enjoy the Disturbed series. You know that, right? So that's more of a question for the ladies, I guess. Because they may just go, husband's watching football. I'm going to go watch this thing about twin flames. And I don't know, that might be disturbing to do that. like be talking about twin flames with other guys' wives. They're just like my twin flame, it's definitely not the husband. He's watching football.
That'd be funny.
Oh God, it would be. It would be so wrong.
God,
Pervert.
this ghost sucks.
I'm not a pervert. I'm a prevert. I'm there before I get perverted. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Just thinking what day would work. Because I don't do that. I was doing that with Caitlin on Mondays, but I stopped doing them on Mondays because it was like interfering with my brain, like putting me in a bad mood on Mondays. So if I'm doing that, probably be best to, I would go back to doing Mondays, but most of the time on Monday, I'm trying to just get my brain back into motion of work. And that's about it.
I feel that.
Yeah, because you work on Mondays and Tuesdays, or else I'd be streaming this trial with you on Mondays and Tuesdays if you weren't working, but because you are, we can't really do that.
But at least it's not like how my schedule was before.
Oh
And I
God.
couldn't do anything for Monday through Thursday. Or we would have to start while I was still at work.
Well, and that wasn't all that bad, because you would still have time to get it set up, and if you weren't able to make it, it was just like boom, off and running. Do you think when they open that one back up that you'll be back over there?
Yeah, when they open back up, I'm probably going to be working 12-hour shifts because
Mm.
it's going to be the
Makes-
grand opening.
Oh yeah, that's right. Or grand reopening, whatever they call. Mm. Most your married fans will be off. Yeah, the holiday season. It's so weird because holiday season. That's whenever I'm the busiest doing things. Don't have because my wife is like, why don't you spend time with me? Spend time with me. This is the only time I have where I can spend time with you. So yeah, I'll be out of town pretty much all through the Christmas part. I will be back in town in time for your 30th thing.
Oh yeah.
And that's
I
a
still need to
Sunday.
come up with the guest lists, like invites.
Yeah. Well, that's the 30th. The 30th is on a Sunday, right?
It's a Saturday.
Is it a Saturday? I thought it was Sunday.
Nope. Saturday.
Huh.
Sunday is the 31st.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because 31st is I'm doing mine. I know I'm going to have that one going on. So that should be a pretty interesting one. I've got to come up with a good story for that. So everybody that comes in on Saturday or comes in on this Sundays will help write the story for the new year. And then that'll be the final one of the year. So it's got to be a good one. Good way to end the year on a high note. That's what I think. And of course, everybody's going to be streaming like the midnight stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be with my family. That's why I'm like,
Yeah, see, I don't know what I'm
it
going to be doing.
on.
Remember the traveling salesman? Never forget. Is MG playing video games? I need to encourage drinking. Oh, he will be. Why don't we go harass him? Let's see what
Is
my
he live
poll
right
is
now?
here. Yeah, he's live. So what it looks like 50% are saying Friday afternoon. So we'll end the poll. Looks like Friday afternoon or set. Half are saying Saturday and half are saying Friday afternoon.
Oh, I hate when that happens, when there's like an even.
Well, I'll tell you what. Keep an eye out. You'll see when it happens. I'll see what Friday afternoon. And whenever I say Friday afternoon, it'd be early Friday afternoon. Yeah, I think I might do that early Friday afternoon or early on. Yeah, do the Disturbed thing because it'll be over on Rumble and it won't be like I'll be getting a whole lot of YouTube folks on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I think I'll
All right.
do. And I mean, even if I do, what I could do is do Friday afternoon and then record it and release it again on Saturday. That'd be so crappy. Do it as a premiere so I could harass chat. I'm not doing that. No, that would be horrible. That takes a lot of energy. We'll see. Friday or Saturday. It'll be one of those two. I won't do Sunday at all then. Yeah, I'll make that happen. Just keep an eye out. Be subbed, all that kind of stuff. You know the drill. And we can just watch
The one
this.
with the black hair, is your name Emerson? Oh, that's weird. Emerson big old titties, you know what I'm saying?